And what's funny is everyone was acting like a dude hadn't just been murdered. Like the one,
It's a rough place, man.
the one guy is back to eating his breakfast.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we're traveling into the future of 2009.
Future past.
The future
Back
past.
to the future.
Let's go. We're talking about Freejack.
More like exploded into the future.
Yeah, pretty much. Forward to the past.
Yeah, it's weird whenever...
Back to the past.
This is what happens when you do sci-fi movies with a future. As soon as you put a date on it, there's an expiration date.
Yes. Can I just say this movie was made in 92?
Yes.
It had a pretty bleak outlook for just, 17 years later?
It seemed like... I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I know you weren't alive yet, but 1992, 2009 might as well have been 50 years from now,
Yes,
right?
but it wasn't that long.
It felt like it was going to be. I mean, at least for me.
But now 1992 has been 30 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Seriously.
All right, don't.
Crap.
Let's welcome everybody in. Charles is back in the house. How are you,
I
Charles?
am very well. Thank
Yeah?
you. I am excited to be here to talk about a movie with people I would not have expected to be together in a movie.
And 2009 is now 13 years ago, right?
I think so. Math's not a skill of mine, but sure.
It wasn't like this, though.
No, not in my life. Now, I suppose there's some places perhaps where there's giant pods on trucks taking people away from the past, but not where I lived.
They wouldn't let us in on that
They didn't
information
let
if
us
it
in
was
on that,
happening.
yeah.
Bob Hauser is back in the house.
Hello.
Let's go.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind.
It's
First
great
time
to have
in-
Bob back.
Forever.
Send your mom's info.
And he's in full form already.
Send your mom's phone numbers to me.
Yeah.
I know you did a mailbag, but it's your first episode back in a long time. So, probably Delta Force, I think, was the last time.
Yeah,
which was-
over almost 3 months ago.
It was a long time. We're happy that you're back.
That was
brother.
a great mailbag, by the way.
Yeah,
thank you.
thanks.
Appreciate
I enjoyed
it.
that.
Thank you.
very much.
It was entertaining.
I appreciate
Is that a new voice I hear
think
in the
it is.
headphones?
Well, not to me.
We have a first-time guest on the show today.
Yes.
And
Hello.
so joining us is Elijah Hewitt. What's up, man?
Nothing much. Senior now, trying to survive school. We're here.
You're on the final stretch.
The final
Yeah.
stretch.
We're getting there.
final countdown. You know, we've had Grace, we've had my daughter in here a couple times, and now we have Charles's son. Because
Yes.
Elijah is Charles's oldest.
Yes, Elijah pointed out to me that we have Hauser Hewitts today.
So it's a Hauser Hewitt.
Oh,
podcast.
look at this!
Two
Yeah.
family members.
Hausers and
I
the
wonder.
Hewitts.
I wonder if the opinions will go along family lines or not,
Yeah, we'll see.
or will it be brother against brother?
Child against father.
in a world.
That's right.
Is it going to be
Gonna
some
break it down.
fratricide going on here?
Well, I'm glad that we're here. This is going to be, it's a new foursome. We've never had this foursome, and that's always a little bit exciting, right? Whenever we get new people together.
What's it
gonna
called
be
when you kill your child?
It's going to be unpredictable.
Why not stop?
Infanticide.
Is it
Yeah,
infanticide?
that's kind of dark. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's kind of a dark movie.
I think I could probably beat you if you tried.
Oh, there's no doubt. That's why I started with fratricide.
All right, let me grab my coffee and my keys off the table, and I'll just scoot over here.
I do have my out the front automatic knife on me.
Oh,
good Lord.
we're going to have a knife fight. We haven't even started talking about it yet.
Is it a little one today.
Is it going to be a
Oh.
time cop knife fight?
No, that's up, down, up,
I'm just going to hold it James's favorite way.
The reverse grip?
reverse script. Don't
James
start.
hates reverse grip.
All right, let's get some of the vitals of this masterpiece out of the way here. It was directed by, now this is just a little idiosyncrasy that this is probably not even the way to say it. I'm an idiot. Whatever. The guy's name is Jeff Murphy, but he spelled it Geoff.
Geoff.
I hate that.
I knew a Geoff.
Geoff Murphy.
I guess I'm discriminatory towards people that spell Jeff with a G, and it's something I need to get over. But
Maybe he's dyslexic.
I think there's a right to that.
is there?
I'm not a real fan of the name Graham spelled Graeme.
Yeah, that's not
like Grammy.
Grammy. Well, Geoff Murphy was the director of this Freejack. Movie was written by three people. Now,
Three people.
Yeah, but this is where it gets
Could use a fourth, maybe.
Yeah.
its
I was thinking
pedigree.
that
From. It was written by Stephen Pressfield, who also wrote Above the Law. You know him
Yes.
from that Seagal movie.
Don't know that one.
Ronald Shusett, who actually came in on a rewrite because the test screenings were so bad. They had to go back and shoot half the movie over again.
So he was a script.
That's unfortunate.
So he was like a script doctor.
Yeah, and a producer. And this guy, you want to know why they brought him in? This is what he's got writing credits on.
Oh boy.
Alien.
Oh.
Aliens.
Ah, yes.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
And more. Just
so he's like legit
guy.
And what's this gentleman's name?
How did he get on this?
Ronald
movie?
Shusett. Well, they brought him in to try and save it.
The movie people are desperate, Elijah. They're like, we need this guy. We need something.
They brought in.
That's a yikes.
They brought in him and Dan Gilroy. Now Dan Gilroy is currently still writing great movies. Did you ever see the movie Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal? He played.
I've wanted to watch that, but never have.
Yeah, he directed it.
Rene Russo's in that one too.
Well, they're married.
Oh, well,
so this is when they met. So Rene Russo met Dan Gilroy making this movie. And they got married. They've been married ever since.
Yep.
And now he has written Nightcrawler. He directed that, but he also wrote Kong Skull Island.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
I
that's a
like
good movie.
Kong.
And Real Steel. I don't know if you ever saw Real Steel.
Real Steel's fun too. Hugh
Real
Jackman.
Steel's great.
The writers on this, the two they brought in halfway through
So
are really good.
This means the first script was not good.
No, I imagine it's
because you have two seriously legit quality people who, I mean, we got to find out at the end what we thought, but
Right.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that it was not quality of Aliens.
No, certainly not. But if it it was an F and they brought it to a C, you know how like how grades work. Your wife's a teacher.
Yes.
You know,
I don't know if they give Fs anymore. I think
No,
they
they
give
definitely
Fs.
do that.
Oh, your school still does. Wait, do we have something we need to talk about later?
that marriage and family class,
No.
Do not incriminate yourself on the podcast.
Yes.
I can't protect you for long.
You can look at my grades if you want.
What are you doing?
yeah, don't. Like, man, I used to get off the bus and race to the mailbox to try and intercept the report card.
Yeah, email
they
now.
go straight to them.
I used to mail them to the house, brother, and
doesn't
so you
happen
could get them
anymore.
before
You couldn't
they
get
did.
them. They
I
mail
don't get
them.
them from you. I don't
Well,
get 'em
probably
from you.
because they can't figure out their new system.
That's
Yeah,
probably true.
perfect. That's my even better. If it had required my dad to sign into anything, I would have been home free.
Dad couldn't sign.
Wow.
He
This
could not
isn't
sign in.
happening.
The movie starred Emilio Estevez, his first time back on this show since Maximum Overdrive. Mick Jagger is in this
Mick
movie.
Jagger. What?
God.
Those two people? How does that happen? And then the third name you're going to mention.
Rene Russo.
Okay, well, yeah. Still,
And then
this
Anthony
is the one.
Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. What is this? How are these people all in the same movie?
So Dana was sitting in. She wasn't watching the movie with me. She was, sitting in the same room while I watched it, doing something else. She's playing a game on the Switch, and so I'm thinking she's oblivious because she hasn't looked up or said a word the entire time.
Which would be fair.
And until
Not a lot of reason to yet.
Anthony Hopkins suddenly appears in this movie, and out of nowhere she goes, "What is he doing in this movie?"
Seriously.
So even she realized he shouldn't be here.
I saw the poster and I'm like, I got to watch this movie because Anthony Hopkins is in this movie.
Yeah.
And Mick Jagger and Emilio Estevez. There is like a layer of skill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to do with that. It's like God is in the room and a worm.
But they,
Wow. Dang.
all right.
Couple
Well,
worms.
jeez.
Told you I was a little
I love it.
spiky
Bring
this
it.
morning, this
Bring
afternoon.
it. The movie had a budget of $30 million, and the box office was only $37 million.
Oh my gosh,
so
this made $37 million?
Yeah.
That's I'm
Wow.
surprised. I'm not gonna
It's like
lie.
70 million today.
Compared to last week's movie, which was, what was it? I just did it. And
I don't-
It was great.
I've already
I was
forgotten.
in it. And it made like 8, and it was $40 million budget.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
those
Nothing But
terrible.
Trouble.
Nothing but trouble.
It's not good.
40
That was your
million,
last episode. Yeah.
40 million, and it made 8. This
Yeah.
is 30, it made 37. So, hey, this is practically a win.
No, but you cut that in half. The theaters
I
get
know.
half. So
Well, cut 8 half out of 40. Someone's
even
jumping
worse.
off buildings in that last movie.
Well, I mean, in this movie, they had assistants.
that's that. Yeah. See. Yeah. That's weird. We'll talk about that. The movie currently sits at a 5.4 on IMDb. It is a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes, so 75% of critics said no, thank you,
Okay.
and a 25% audience score. So 1% difference between
That's
the
pretty
two.
unusual. Usually there's differences.
Yeah, so a lockstep people and critics on this one. Only 1 out of 4 people like it.
So that means in this room, one of
1,
us
2,
will
3. All right, wow, we'll see who it's going to be.
see who's going to be.
And that's that's where we landed on Freejack. So by all metrics, it belongs on the show.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It bombed. The critics said it's bad.
What
the people
was
said it's bad.
IMDb rating?
5.4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody in this movie is taller than Emilio Estevez.
That's also true.
oh my god.
You know what? The way that you can stand tall, though, is by joining badmoviesrule.com's newsletter. So if you could head to our website, it's badmoviesrule.com. You can sign up for the email newsletter that comes out. You'll be notified of new episodes coming. And we're also going to include our running list. So when you get our newsletter, you'll see the list of what's almost 400 movies at this point that we have that we're trying to go through.
That's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
That's a lot of garbage. To go through.
You be quiet.
We will be.
Not all of it's garbage.
I thought that was the point of this podcast.
Oh my god.
We will be cataloging garbage until the day we die.
Where's the
okay?
kids table? No kids table in here.
Not in this one. Not
My
yet.
dad, who was a trash man as a youth,
Yeah.
my grandpa was a trash hauler. So there's a difference between garbage and trash. Trash can be good stuff. Garbage is just
Okay.
gross.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine.
well, there you go.
Trash,
That's
there
true.
go.
Cataloging
One
trash.
man's junk's another man's treasure.
And speaking of trash, if you want to reach out to the show, if you've got a question you want to ask us or you want to suggest some movies, send us an email at thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. We're the worst movie podcast out there. We wanted to have an email that reflects it. It's all one word, thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. Again, go to badmoviesrule.com. At the bottom of the page, you can sign up there, or you can go to the support tab and sign up for the email newsletter there as well. Regardless, we're just happy that you're here joining us today. If you want a more VIP experience, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/badmoviesrule. For as little as $3, you can have access to bonus recordings. You can vote on upcoming episodes, different tiers. You can even participate in the show and the awards time that we do at the end of each episode. And so those of you who are new, what we do is we walk through the movie plot item by plot item until the very end, when then we give out the awards and ultimately come to a decision of whether or not this movie is bad, as it said. Is it a bad movie that's awesome, or a bad movie that rules, or is it a straight up good movie? We'll find out if you guys stick around. Thank you for joining us. Whew, deep breath. You guys ready to roll?
I think
Oh,
so.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I almost ran out of breath there.
Cue the 1990 saxophone.
Yes.
How much did they pay for Kenny G, I wonder, for this?
Every early 90s action, thriller, sci-fi movie or any type, it always has a 90s guitar or a 90s saxophone.
Well, and it was
Scent,
this,
of course.
and it was this time when they would have 9-minute long opening credit sequences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just the slow turn of the camera to Kenny G's, right? And I'm like,
Gotta set that sci-fi
man,
mood as they're driving through front loader first in their caravan.
Yep.
yeah. So the opening 5-10 minutes is a little confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, is that an
We
understatement?
stopped about halfway through the movie as a family because it was family movie night movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry I put the family through it. But
You're not sorry, though. You
it
enjoyed
worked
it.
out though because we got Elijah here.
Yeah.
And we had a review session on what has happened so far.
Okay.
Just so we all were on the same page because some of us were a little confused on the plot
Yeah.
points at this point.
Yeah, I was definitely there.
And it definitely started from the front loader as the first scene.
Yeah.
In a caravan.
Because the first scene is cutting between two different scenes, essentially, right?
Yeah.
There's Mick Jagger, the lead singer of the Rolling Stones. Just
who like to wear a lot of helmets.
yeah.
dude ran around looking like a space ball through this entire movie.
You remember the Michael Dukakis? Do you remember the Michael Dukakis thing? He was a presidential candidate. And he was in a
Yeah.
tank. He's totally like that.
Yes.
He was a couple of pieces away from actually looking like a cyber penis.
You knew he's dangerous
Wow.
because he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they're doing something no one has any idea because it's not explained. So you're like, they're obviously on some kind of mission to procure something.
Yes.
Whatever that is.
Little did we know, they're setting up the
The whole point of the
the whole
plot.
point of the film
Yeah.
to acquire Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
I will admit it took me a lot longer to figure that out
Okay.
than I would like to.
Because what's happening is one of these scenes is taking place in 1991.
Yes.
And the other is in 2009, but you don't know that because they don't tell you.
Well, it's also a little bit, it throws you off because I think it goes from the front loader scene,
Yeah.
the caravan, and then all of a sudden you see Emilio Estevez and Rene Russo, and then she leans over and kisses his butt.
Yeah, of all the
about
places to
that.
kiss in the
I'm
morning.
Like, what? He kissed his butt.
Why
What?
would you go
Why
that?
would
that
you?
you know,
Listen, I've been married for 20 years, and not
Yeah.
once have I ever thought.
No.
I'm just gonna
to
lean
do
in
that.
and kiss a morning
Yeah.
butt.
Oh, yes, perfect.
Yeah.
All
What
the
a way to
places.
start the morning.
I'll start the breath of fresh ass.
No, right. You're right. They're just in their bedroom.
Yeah. It's like, what is going on?
Like it's a Monday morning and they're, waking up. But we find out it's the day of the big race.
big race.
Yep.
Right. And so we are leading. I'm like, thank goodness we're getting some kind of exposition. Who are these people? He's a race car driver.
F1 racer, apparently.
Yeah.
The best.
I
Which,
didn't know we had F1 back then.
well, we did. F1 stresses me out. I don't know how much big a racers you guys are, but the fact that their head is taller than the seat that
Yeah.
they, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you roll this car.
I don't know if that's true anymore because they finally figured out that kills people.
Did they?
I think the objective was they were
steps up,
hoping
right?
it didn't kill anybody.
Making progress.
Got it.
Well, open wheel cars are always a little freaky too. Not quite this freaky in this movie,
No.
but there is some risk involved with open wheel cars.
And where was the ramp?
What was,
Yeah.
hold on, we're gonna get to that.
I have questions about that too.
Because
How did he end up
the one thing they established right away is this guy is a moron. Okay,
How dare you?
What?
Alex?
He's not. Is he?
He didn't know the difference between a typewriter or a computer.
He is
okay,
an Estevez.
Yes, he's an Estevez.
Thank you.
He's a Sheen.
Whatever. Estevez is a fake name, right? Or it's his.
No, Estevez.
Where
is
did
the
he
real,
get?
I think Estevez is the real.
They have
Isn't
different
Estevez? It's the maiden. It's the mother's name. Last name.
different
Right, because
moms?
no, because Martin Sheen is Carlos Estevez, isn't that
Oh,
his
is
real
that right?
name?
Sheen is the acting name?
I think so.
Oh, maybe you're right.
I think that's the case.
Okay.
I don't know.
We got
I don't do any
sidetracked.
research
This is the
for this
worst
show.
movie podcast.
I feel
How
like maybe
dare
we should
you.
start doing that.
We should probably know that kind of stuff because
Yeah.
he's like royalty. But nonetheless, that's
Nonetheless,
why we're the bad podcast.
Renee Russo is there. There's this like kind of inane conversation about should we get married, should we not? They're just trying to establish their relationship.
Yeah.
Before the night of the big or the day of the big race.
She's attractive lady.
She
She also feels a lot older than me than him. I just looked it up. He's only 8 years a senior. She's 8 years a senior.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's 12.
she was at this point in 1992. She was having a moment. Like
This is her moment.
she was just doing Lethal Weapon 3 the same year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She had already done Major League.
Okay.
Right. She was coming right out of this into like Get Shorty and.
Was she the poster girl in Major League? They were pulling.
No, she was Tom Berenger's girlfriend.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, I believe
but,
so.
But then all the way up kind of through Tin Cup and the Thomas Crown affair in 97, like Renee
Thomas
Russo
Crown.
had a run
Yeah.
for like 8-9 years.
Can I tell you a funny story about Thomas Crown
Sure.
and Renee Russo?
Yeah.
So I saw that on an airplane back when they edited movies for airplanes. And I got back to my regular life and I was talking to some friends and I'm like, oh, that Thomas Crown movie is awesome. Really, really good. You should watch it. And then later I saw it uncut and I'm like, what the? I didn't know there's all these graphic sex scenes in this movie. And here I am recommending it to like
To the elders of his church and
to
stuff.
the elders of my church. I was like, oh, that was a bad
that's
call.
awkward.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Next time, tell them to
I'll
watch it
high
on an
five you for that.
airplane. Okay.
I'll give you a high five for that. That's
Come
awesome.
by.
All right.
We need to talk.
all this to say that Mick Jagger gets into place, and you kind of the first inkling you get is you see the broken Nissan sign in the background of where they're setting up the
I missed that.
Yeah, I
they're
did
raising up this like I don't know what it is like a
I did kind of know two things
Bubble.
were happening here, but I wonder if that's only because I read the description.
oh it might be I tried to go in cold
Yeah.
but essentially what they raise this machine or pod
Like
or whatever
Like a
into the exact spot where this crash happened in 2009.
yes. Look like a flying saucer type thing.
Yeah. And so what they're literally going to do is they're going to snatch Emilio Estevez out of time, out
body.
from 1991,
From that exact moment.
right before the instant before he crashes, which, again, Bob, as you said, makes no sense whatsoever.
Not whatsoever.
I don't understand the
How did they launch him into the air?
Well, open wheel cars
Or
are
how do you-
dangerous, but I'm not quite sure they can fly them 8-10
Yeah,
feet
okay.
into the air.
We were watching. I know. I said Eli was there, and he's like, "So what just happened? How did the car get into the sky?" And he was like, "Was there like a tire or something?" I wasn't. I was paying attention, but I was like, "Sure," because I didn't know.
I mean,
No,
they could have done that so much easier. They could have had a crash before him.
Something.
And they're cars that are angled like ramps. He could
Yeah.
have like gone up one.
it's like cars.
It's a movie, so you only have to make it slightly plausible. And people go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, instead they just show two wheels hitting, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
he's flying 10 feet in the air.
Into an overpass. So
an
he
overpass.
crashes direct and explodes into a giant fireball.
Yeah, so he's still, and it's what's even more funny. They were supposed to snatch him
Yeah.
out of time. There's still the dummy in the car
What?
Yeah.
Oh, when you see it blow up, you
Yeah,
still
you're
see
like,
the line. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought
So
I
it's
saw
not
that, but I
manless.
thought I was just losing my mind. I was like,
No, I was
not paying
still
attention
occupied by the dummy. That poor
Nice.
dummy.
But we do have to get to one
Rest in
thing
peace.
first.
Yeah, what's up?
So the girlfriend's very supportive of his career, which is very nice. They truly seem to love each other. And
Yeah.
he says something like, nibble my ear.
Yeah. That was
Oh, we can't forget
And
about
this
that.
is my wife says to me, that's going to be important. And I'm like, oh, maybe. But she's like, yeah, that's just too weird to not be important.
It's
Yeah.
very specific,
yeah, it's
isn't
very
it?
specific.
always when there's a specific
Yeah.
line, it's going to come back later.
Nibble my ear. And then she does it, and she's like, right here in public?
Well, and you know, just like she didn't even really do it.
No,
I feel like Renee was like,
mean,
she kind of just covered his ear
Maybe
with
they
her hand.
filmed that, and they're like, that was the edit the guy made.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we're not showing that to gross. No one wants to see her nibble.
wants to
his
see any
ear.
nibbles.
Or maybe Emilio can't handle that.
Well,
He's
it
like,
seems
no,
like he's got a
not
weird
doing it
thing
for
with
real.
specific body parts. He kisses her butt in the morning, and then he wants her to nibble his
No,
ear.
she
and-
kissed his butt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. They're made for each other then, I guess.
Hey, it was the 90s.
90s.
It was the 90s.
Fresh things were happening.
Yeah, so, yeah, because right before the big race is nibble my ear for luck,
luck.
right? And
She gives him a necklace.
that was the wrong thing to do because his luck went horribly
Oh, yeah.
wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
One of my favorite lines later.
crashed into a giant fireball.
Nibble my ear, crashes and explodes into the future, ends up in a futuristic 2009 New York with
Yeah.
a bunch of cyber troopers.
Yeah, so
We called him the tinfoil man.
tinfoil, that's literally what I have written down.
Tinfoil man.
I had 1990s backyard stormtroopers.
And I like 'cause it's like, what kind of hospital is
Backyard
this? Yeah, there you
stormtroopers.
go.
That's good.
That's
Yeah, so
That's good.
So what ends up happening is
It's a
he is
Walmart brand.
instantaneously transported. To everybody in 1991, he's dead. He exploded in a giant fireball because they don't see anything.
And she screams, ah!
She does.
It was
That's exactly.
very scream.
Very good. Very
I
nice.
thought Renee Russo was in the
Yeah,
room
I know,
there.
it's wild.
It was a terrific
Should be an
scream.
actor.
Thank you. Yeah.
They Freejack him, but apparently when you Freejack somebody, it's supposed to like wipe their mind because he starts
Is
to.
that what that's supposed
Yeah,
to do?
because he's supposed as he starts to.
We've solved the mystery.
There you go. Because he starts to wake up and they're like, "Oh crap!
Crap. Get the lobotomy machine that's way too dangerous.
Yeah.
You mean that exposed
Yeah,
wire?"
seriously. Shooting. I mean, I'm like, jeez.
No, then see that's
please.
because if that wasn't a thing, then the plot wouldn't happen.
By the way,
Right, this is true.
lobotomies don't actually make you lose all your memory.
No,
No, they're actually still used, and they're not as terrible as everyone thought.
Oh, what
they're
is
very
it?
helpful sometimes for people that have significant personality disorders.
Oh.
It severs the thing in the frontal lobe so that you're not as impulsive and you have a little more calm in your brain.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, you learn
Who,
something new.
who
every
knew
day.
Charles was pro lobotomizing people?
Just don't sign me up for mummification.
Only
Yeah,
in the
I'm with
sense
you
of like modern, not like
No,
Nurse
I'm-
Ratched kind of lobotomy.
Oh, that was terrible, Nurse Ratchet.
Not that one, but
Well, they saran wrap him to keep him fresh too. You
thought
noticed
that
that,
was
like
funny.
where they're just like, "Oh, we
It's
got to
like,
keep
saving
him,
him for later.
save him for later."
Add leftovers.
Gotta
Oops.
preserve him. The hot pocket from the past.
and one of the great or worst lines. He's got a pulse. Wouldn't want to dance to it, but that's a pulse.
Yeah.
That was his big moment.
That
That,
was
guy.
his moment. It was delivered to
Well,
him.
he wasted it.
So he starts to come to, and ultimately Alex wakes up and is lucid enough to get up and start fighting the tinfoil guys because
It's like, I'm in a hospital.
Yeah,
what
they're-
kind of hospital is this?
it's important to know that in the future, it's not too dissimilar from Equilibrium in that there's the haves and the have-nots, and so parts of the city are very nice and futuristic, and parts are total war zones.
So here's a question I have.
yeah,
I don't. Do you guys? Any of you understand why they had to go to that location to do the time transplant?
because they had to get him from where he was.
So it was actually the location where you.
Yes,
that
where
happened.
he
Because
died.
they talk about
Okay.
the space.
So that would be the sign you saw.
Okay, that would
Right.
make sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they went to where the racetrack was, and so as they're bringing him back, they're like, "This sector's." Mick Jagger's like, "This sector's supposed to be clear," and it wasn't, and so they get attacked by militants or
Yes.
whoever.
I could not take him seriously. I'm
And-
sorry.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Okay, so I honestly changed my mind about him from scene to scene. I don't know
I
what it
would
was.
agree, yeah.
There were
Same.
some scenes where I was totally like, "Oh, he's
Yeah.
killing it
Yeah.
right now,"
Yeah.
and there's some scenes that are like, "No, Mick, that wasn't it, buddy." And like it's weird. I haven't had that experience with a performance in a movie for a while.
Well, my first thought when he started acting was he's acting like he's in a music video, right? Like he's doing a music video,
right?
But he warmed up on me as the movie went on.
Yeah. No, I was surprised, but
it was weird to see him in that.
Sure,
especially with the dorky hat on.
That was.
And he's not even in all that cool of an armored vehicle. It's like a police armored vehicle. It's like big wheels and it's real squat. And he's like, "Hey, go get him."
These militants blow a hole in the side of this pod, which allows Alex to jump out.
Get out. After he electrocuted everybody in the place.
He
used
does.
Thunderbolt. It was super effective.
Yeah,
seriously. He used Thunderbolt. He's still in his race car jumpsuit.
I have my doubts that lobotomy machine would have just killed everyone anyways if they had used it as they intended, because it seems super like
and it arced
safe.
from person to person.
It's like who designed this machine?
It's like travels from foe to foe, right? It chains.
That's
it's
a pretty
like
good scene where
damage
it's
chain.
coming to him, it's like
witch
wobbling,
bolt.
and he's like, it's going up my nose.
Yeah, it was. So in the confusion of this fight, he's able to escape.
There was such a wasted bad pun in that scene.
What's that?
He could have just literally said, "Be charged."
Get charged. He
Power up, guys.
as he's escaping and he's power up. It's time to power up. As he's escaping, you start to learn immediately that freejackers are not well thought of in society.
Did they ever explain that?
Yeah, well, they kind of not overtly, so you have to kind of pick it up from what people are saying. But
Me and Eli could not figure it out.
they're almost treated like subhuman, right?
Yeah.
Well, they are kind of, because they're supposed to be dead.
Right. They're property.
But here's a great question my wife asked was, does this happen so often that there's actually a term for Freejack?
Yeah,
like, are all of these guys running around?
Yeah.
We're like, if this has happened so many times, why haven't they come up with something to stop that? Like if you're in the future,
you can't stop.
Well, you saw the quality of those tinfoil guys.
I mean, that's true. Maybe they need to spend some more money on their military instead of their weird open-wired machines.
And so he goes to his old house. Alex runs up to where he used to live, like Back to the Future style, right? When Marty went back to his house, and he's just like, "Well, there's bars on the doors now. What's going on?" Right? And I'm like, "Oh, we just saw
totally
this."
ripped off.
Yeah.
But there's this guy at the front gate. It's Jose.
He knows him. And then he's like he
Alex?
doesn't even question it. He's like, yeah, exactly. Like, Alex, I'm like, I just saw you die, but you're back. All right, come on in. Like, what?
Oh, you didn't just see him. It was like 20 years ago.
But then we never see Jose again.
Never
the rest
again.
of the movie.
Right. No, Jose got work to do. Maybe he got shot. I mean, it wasn't bad.
That's true.
It was so weird to introduce his character, be like, "Hey, Jose, man, you know me." Like, Alex Furlong, and he opens the door for him. Like, all right, somebody he knows, somebody
Maybe he
he's
didn't believe it.
Bring
connected
him back, Jose.
with.
Bring him back.
And
He was doing some of them newfangled drugs in 2009.
Yeah, didn't they talk about like doing mercury and how are they alive? I'm pretty sure that
right, they're all on drugs
work
that
very well.
didn't even exist in the 90s.
Yeah,
at
like
one
I
point, he
said,
says,
these people in '99 have really pessimistic view of 20 years, not like 18 years later, 17.
Yeah, and obviously when he gets to his house, Julie, who he's looking for, is not there. It's another family that's moved in. It might even be the same family that was in Marty McFly's house, for all we know,
They looked
because it looked
kinda
identical.
like it.
So,
But the wife's like, "Oh, I know. We bought the house off of Julie Redmond." I'm
Right.
like, "You bought this place? You own this?" I feel
it
sorry
looked like
for
an
you.
apartment.
Yeah, you know, I didn't think about that.
And
but
it was
yeah, you're right. It's an
dilapidated.
The
apartment.
guy had the shotgun pointed up to his chin, so
Yeah.
That's fine.
one mistake, you're blowing your own head off.
Well, here this gives us a chance to talk about what's actually happening here, like, because we haven't delved into that yet. Because the next thing we see is the spiritual switchboard.
Yes.
How did you feel about the spiritual switchboard?
Switchboard.
Yes.
I'm like, what the
Perfect name.
what the heck is a spiritual switchboard?
It's a computer that they store your brain on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mind.
Just
No, she said
Upload into the cloud.
That
Yeah,
looks
but-
like an antenna
but-
from 1962.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But not brain, because very specifically that dialogue was in the movie.
Oh, that's
They said
right.
Not brain, the mind.
Your mind. So like your
mind
essence.
would be more like your soul, your essence.
So yeah, it's just your backup saves.
It's the iCloud. That is the version of the
That's
iCloud.
what Microsoft and all
Freejack
them
was
guys
ahead of
want.
its time.
Yeah, is that what we're getting to?
Apple,
That's what we're getting to.
watch this movie. And they're
All
like,
right.
we got to base everything off of this movie.
So the
I like this.
basically this rich billionaire has passed away, and he only has 36 hours. I don't know. He's running out of iCloud storage or whatever. He's like,
He's running out of space.
Why is that only temporary? I don't get that totally.
I don't get it either. What a crummy
The
computer.
internet crashed.
He's like, we got spotty Wi-Fi in here, so you got to get 36 hours before you got
I mean, in '92, our computers were still only working on megabytes. I think.
Yeah.
We hadn't moved to gigabytes yet, so they didn't realize you probably could have enough space in 2009 to store more than you probably keep 48 hours.
at least 3 billionaires on there, right? Yeah, exactly. And so,
unless the soul's really big. I mean, the mind might be pretty big data file.
It could be, but essentially, this billionaire, what these people do, apparently, it seems like it's a regular thing, is they'll Freejack people from the past right before they die. So, not in a way, they're not taking anybody that would have enjoyed a life.
That was an interesting concept,
right?
And it also explains why they needed him, because they needed to know exact moments of people's death,
right?
So, video recorded death like his is very
useful.
Had it, they could pinpoint exactly when and where to get him. So, I thought from a point of voice storytelling,
it was interesting.
It's legit. Like,
okay,
I can't imagine there's that many deaths on video.
This is why I don't. This is why I don't donate plasma.
Because you think they're going to Freejack you?
Yeah. Donate plasma. Help sick children. Hey, help presidents. help dictators.
Bob's over there like, that's how they get
Joe
you, man.
Biden's hooked up on your plasma right now, keeping alive.
Oh no.
Joe Biden's like, bring me more of Bob Hauser's plasma.
I got this plasma that makes me want to talk like, who's that guy you talk about all the time?
That explains why he sniffs women's hair. You got these guys my plasma.
All right.
What's that wrestler?
Come on.
What's the wrestler you always quote?
Ooh, Macho Man.
Yeah, that's why Biden's like, I need some Macho Man in me. Give me some Macho Man platelets.
It's just hey,
Kamala, how you doing? All right, back to Freejack.
Although, Bob, I don't think you're wrong about that, actually. So
what happens then is these billionaires, once they have the body they've snatched from the past, they then upload their mind from the spiritual switchboard into the new body, ipso facto. Now they've got a new lease on life. It's immortality.
Yeah. Basically.
So
as long as you got video of people dying.
Yeah.
Oh, and they didn't want bodies from the current age because of all the pollution.
Oh, that's right. They were diseased.
Which
there's
no ozone layer, but there's plants.
Well, you didn't know this, Elijah. Back in the 80s and 90s, we were very concerned about ozone layer.
We thought it was going to be a much...
pretty sure I knew about that.
We stopped putting hairspray on and solved the problem.
We thought it was going to be a much bigger deal than it turned out to be.
Of how isn't the ozone layer also important for just breathing in general?
Yes. Yeah.
So I feel
that's why we were very concerned, because if the ozone layer went away, we would all
that's fair.
Ozone
fried.
No, fried.
I think it's fried, isn't it?
I guess these people are also smoking lead and mercury, so I guess they don't need oxygen either.
Yeah, but they really wanted people from the night. They wanted pre-COVID people, basically.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, what if you got a long COVID body?
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Oh, I'm tired all the time. I can't smell.
John
gave me
Banks.
this body.
So Jonathan Banks.
I love John Banks.
John Banks, the Breaking Bad guy.
Yes.
Is the guy who looks like he's working at this McCandless Corporation, who is working for some billionaire who wants this body.
And he's weirdly in like a church building. It looks like a church.
It almost looks spiritual, doesn't it?
Well, spiritual switchboards on tops.
And so Vasendik, who is Mick Jagger, comes in and he's like, you failed, you idiot. Like, you lost the one guy that we wanted to do this, and now, and they're like, oh, I'm mad you didn't do the thing.
I'm British.
And he's like, oh, I'm British. Don't talk like that. I mean, break your fancy egg. And
what was the deal with the eggs?
So Fabergé is a fancy, I don't really know. They're like a super fancy egg. I think you mentioned like 1916.
Yeah, they're expensive.
That would be pre-communist takeover of Russia. Anyways, they're super fancy artisan eggs, not real eggs. They're like made out of gold and diamonds.
Very
right.
expensive.
They're just very expensive and fragile. And so he broke his fancy little egg and he got mad. And so he sends him out like, go do your job that you're supposed to do. Find this guy. Meanwhile, Alex finds this
nun with a gun.
Nun finds her. Well, he finds a church. He sleeps by the altar.
Oh,
right.
that is Sister Mary Holy Water right there.
That's Honey Bunny from Pulp Fiction.
I know.
That's
why it's like, she's a nun.
She had great lines.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
If you're a praying man, I'd start now with her 2-barrel shotgun.
Oh, my gosh. Her
2-barrel shotgun that they put a sound effect of a pump shotgun in there. But I was like, I'm like, that's
not how that works. Yeah.
She's dishing out holiness one shell at a time.
Yeah, maybe it's a specially crafted shotgun.
She says to him, well, at first she's not going to help him. In fact, she's rather rude, but then realizes he's a freejacker, and so she tries to help him. She tries to look up Julie, can't find Julie, but finds Brad, which was his sleazeball manager earlier in the movie.
Played wonderfully by David Johansen.
Yeah,
yes.
A.K.A. Buster Poindexter.
Yes.
Right?
A.K.A. Thanatos from Mr. Nanny.
A.K.A. the ghost of Christmas Past from Scrooge.
He has a very unique face.
He does.
He's also a musician too.
He is.
He's also a very well-known musician.
And so
You think him and Mick Jagger compared notes?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure there was a lot of.
oh yeah, those
comparing
guys are on
notes
equal
or-
footing.
Mick Jagger's like, who are you again?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And so she does say, my favorite thing she said is she tosses him a gun. Or she says, the Lord moves in mysterious ways, and throws him a firearm.
Yeah.
She was great.
She's my number 3 for best people in the movie.
Oh, there you go.
So she was great.
Meantime, Vicendic's back in his, I don't know, his bad guy van, and he's just got a little like TV clicker, and he's like beep booping the screen. He's like, now he can't use phones. Like he's just hits a button and it scans.
Yeah, and it's just like, yep, all right, everything. If we see him, yeah, he's done.
He's done.
Can I just say one of the things I find super fascinating in most all of these movies we watch that are future?
Yeah.
No one ever got the cell phone.
No.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
true.
It's so
That
strange.
everyone just have a phone on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they never they get some other stuff here and there, but cell phones just were like, no one saw that coming, and all of a sudden,
It seems so obvious.
except Wally, actually. Wally kind of had that pegged,
That's true.
but Wally might have come out after cell phones did.
Well, they had other things pegged in that movie too.
That's true.
But yeah, so Alex goes looking for his friend Brad, and I say friend in air quotes because
Yeah.
did anybody think Brad was going to help
No,
him?
and why was Brad's hallway so wet?
Yeah, the whole building was leaking, and
To show that
wetness.
so it's the
Well, yeah, he was
visual
trying to-
setting of this place sucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
well, speaking of this place sucks. Here, I got to let the cat out of the bag on this because I have very complicated thoughts about this movie, about whether I like it or not. But one thing for sure, I thought sucked hard was Emilio Estevez's acting in this
Yes.
Yeah, I think you got some
Yeah.
friends
movie. Okay.
there. Yeah. He was not.
He was
Yeah,
terrible.
No, he was
not good.
he was not.
Okay, thank you.
Except that I thought maybe it worked because he was so confused every about the time, and he looked like he was always like,
I
"Am
thought
I
at
on
first
a movie? Am
maybe-
I acting? Am I doing something? What's happening?"
My dude doesn't know what day it is. Oh, I mean, I feel that actually sometimes, but
This scene specifically, he's walking to see Brad's, and a random gunfight breaks out.
Yes.
A dude literally
Well,
grabs him, shoots.
what was
the
that
whole
all
time?
about?
And the whole time, Emilio's just like, "Oh, that was weird."
Yeah.
Eli Payne gave some wonderful. So we were watching. I gave him. He was like, "Give me the remote." I'm like, "Okay." And he pauses on each of these characters in the. So I wrote down the quotes because
Okay.
I was laughing for a solid 5 minutes. It hurt after a while, but it was
Nice.
so funny. So, oh, I have to find it. I have so many in here now. Okay, so we're not recording, but I have pictures to show you guys what characters. So this guy,
Yes.
right?
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so he goes, like in this scene, it looks like he's breakdancing. He's got a football helmet. Oh, I know. Yeah, he's got a football helmet with spikes, a varsity jacket with a Spider-Man logo, kind of, with some wings, and like, I don't know, some weird club shorts and some weird kinky biker pants.
It's like being in the stands of a Los Angeles Raiders game. That's right.
And it was great.
Yeah.
And then the other character, this guy,
Yes.
and he pauses for like 5 seconds. He's like, so he's a black Confederate Nazi with a Los Angeles Chargers vest or some type of jacket on.
Nice. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I remember seeing that guy with the better. I didn't know he was black. 'cause he
No,
was so
what?
fast.
And the whole time, this random, like Eli paid more attention than Emilio Estevez did, and he was there.
Yes. And why did that guy reach around and help him, and then
Yeah,
you never
okay,
see
that
him
never-
and what
yeah.
was happening? Like, why?
The whole time, he just walks around in a.
And why does Emilio Estevez show less emotion than a video game character where the main guy doesn't speak at all?
I think you know what I think would happen is I think
Yeah.
this movie was meant for Charlie and not for Emilio.
Is that what it was?
No, because I don't mean that
Yeah.
disrespectfully. I just mean there's certain things that Charlie does better than Emilio. Emilio is a good comedy drama actor.
Yeah.
Does really good drama, and Charlie's more action type in comedy. So
Well, I did hear a quote that Emilio didn't like the movie because it had too much action,
Oh, really?
which I'm thinking I would have gone more the action direction.
Yeah,
because
that's
there
what
were
I would've
points in this
done.
movie where it drags along.
Don't get me
Well,
wrong. I love Young Guns
definitely.
1 and 2,
No, I know.
but he didn't fit. He was kind of out of place in this
Totally
movie.
forgot about that.
We'll
until I saw him
we'll
in
pick this up again here, because basically what happens is, just to pick things up here, he gets to Brad's apartment. He finds Brad. Brad pulls a gun on him at first before he realizes who it is. Oh, Alex, you SOB. I knew it was you. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Freejack, I knew I was going to be you. Yeah.
He's got like a secret apartment behind an apartment.
Built out of marble boxes
No,
and
that
cool pack
doesn't
of
give
cool
I'm going to
boxes.
stab you in the back later vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
else does.
Did anybody think for 1 second he wasn't going to double cross him?
Anybody that plays Grand Theft Auto or any video game could see that guy's
Right.
Oh, you're gonna double cross me in the next 2-3 minutes.
I was surprised he did to the police and not directly to McCandless.
But what's funny is he does know.
corporation.
The important thing that he does get out of Brad is he knows that Julie works for McCandless.
Yeah.
and tells him where Julie is.
True.
And this is where we see this little scene of Julie. She's like a high-powered exec trying to broker some deal with the Japanese guys, and Jonathan Banks is there, and she kind of shows him up, and you're like, oh, look, she seems like a high-powered person up in this
She is.
corporation.
She didn't age.
He's like, all right, well, they're going to send us a car. We're going to get to see Julie. Let's go to this diner and we'll wait there, right? And one of the funniest things in the movie to me is, as they're walking to the diner, Brad is like trying to teach Emilio Estevez how to act.
Yeah.
Right? And he still sucked at it.
He's still
You're
bad.
walking too perfect. This is
He's like, you gotta look dirty.
start limping.
Yeah.
That's after he's got his cowboy
Yeah,
outfit
he's like,
on,
you look
He's
too
dressed-
clean.
He dressed like a cowboy too, right? He's got his long coat and brown.
He looks
and a
like he
hat.
belongs. He's like the fourth member of Thunder from Down Under. Like he doesn't look.
looks-
he
That
doesn't
hat
look
actually
perfect.
was in Young Guns 2.
Oh, see?
And Emilio was going to claim it, but the other guy got it first.
Oh. Well, I just thought it was hilarious
that was
that I'm
funny.
like, even this guy's trying to teach him how to act.
That was unscripted.
Yeah,
They
that-
just
he's
left it
just
in. The
phoning it
rewrite,
down.
that second guy comes in and says, that's pretty good. We
Just
should
leave
put that in.
He was phoning it in, unfortunately.
Yes. They get to the diner
I think
and
he was faxing it in.
Faxing
So
it, paging.
there's this. They get to the diner. They sit there. There's this other guy at the restaurant who's just.
What was that all about?
Bro, my dude pulls a gun out of his inventory and is like,
Pulls a gun. How does that go?
Then Emilio
Pulls a gun
out of his inventory.
he just like pulls it out.
I never heard that expression before.
It's a gamer thing.
That was Eli Payne as well. He's like, this dude just gets a gun from nowhere.
Everyone's got guns.
He puts a
wow,
gun.
that's
Then
awesome.
Emilio puts a gun out, and then this whole time I'm like, oh, this is kind of a tense standoff. And Brad comes back from the bathroom. He's like, oh man, in 5 minutes I'm going to be eating caviar, which was the wrong thing to say.
Emilio
Yeah.
picks up. You are going to be eating caviar.
Yeah, not us.
Us. Oh, you're just paranoid. Well, I guess I was right.
But as soon as the cops roll up, he's like, you called him, and he tries to hold him, but a fight breaks out with the other angry diner who shoots Brad
Yeah.
That's true.
Multiple times.
multiple times.
Over
Brad's like a carcass.
Radiation soup.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just blasts him.
And so there's this is what the one thing I thought was really cool about making Alex a race car driver is anytime now there's this big chase scene on a motorcycle and then later a truck.
You
we'll see.
believe he could do that.
You believe he
Yes.
could do it, right? You're like, oh, well, this is the perfect
That
scenario.
motorcycle chase scene it's great.
Yes.
Because there's another motorcycle just, sitting, like another cop comes and he's like, blocking up the way and he hits him and the motorcycle, no damage, no nothing, just slides into the wall. And again, we were watching, he goes, so what's the physics on that? And I'm like, oh, there just wasn't.
Future physics. Physics in 2009.
Other cars
Also,
exploded.
apparently the motorcycles change. Make,
Yes.
model.
Yeah.
So
Did you see?
Because Alex ran out of the. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just. I was gonna jump forward, but I didn't mean to.
No, so Alex jumps out of the diner and finds his bike, and this is how, and then the chase ensues in the alley. But what was cool about it is the chase actually comes back through the diner again. And what's funny is everyone was acting like a dude hadn't just been murdered. Like the one,
it's
to
a
it at
rough
this
place,
point.
man.
the one guy is back to eating his breakfast.
Yeah.
The body's not there anymore.
yeah.
They
He
already
disposed of
mopped him
that
up.
quickly.
In like 30 seconds, he despawned.
That's what you're eating. That's what the guy. That's the body. They threw him right in the
That's true.
incinerator.
They just maybe they got a Roomba body Roombas in 2009.
Body Roomba.
I'm like, that was fast, guys. Y'all clean that up fast. And he takes off through the bike and gets out of there and gets away. And somehow, he literally rides his bike through a checkpoint.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
where no one can stop him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he busts
That's Alex
through a
Furlong.
2x6.
There he goes.
2x6 checkpoint.
Right.
Breaks right through the
There was a
2x6s.
hole just wide enough for a motorcycle, oddly enough, to
It
get
hit
through.
the
Freejack.
windshield. He
how-
literally, the
barely an
2x6s
inconvenience.
hit the windshield of the bike, and he blasts
Yeah.
right through it. Like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, what's up?
What's
He's a
popping?
race car driver.
So he's into the now he's broken into the fancy part of town.
He's in the
Yeah.
front. He's at the ends now.
The
the
point
.05%.
and he goes to see Julie. Right? Because Brad told her where she was.
I want to know, why didn't we get self-opening and sliding doors?
Yeah, right?
They all these have sliding doors, and it got crap future.
Honestly,
we don't have that door. I got to open my hand.
They didn't give us the hoverboards. They didn't give us the flying cars.
Seriously,
and you know what? I'm fine with all of that. But why don't we have sliding doors?
You know how many?
Or at least self-opening.
Nah, the doors on the other hand. This we need.
Why am I opening doors like a fool?
Seriously, I'm like some kind of peasant. I got to turn a knob
because it's
to get
always,
a door open.
It's always funny watching people walk into doors.
And we could end the early mortality of left-handed people with self-opening doors. We could have a real cause here, people.
It's a platform.
And you know how many people would have a car just smashing their head clean out of their butt out of the sky?
Flying cars?
Yeah, flying cars.
No, I get it. That's what we're
grateful.
saying. I understand why we don't have that, but good Lord, sliding doors should have happened.
I also want to know, why can't we get cars that look kind of like worms?
Yeah, like those cars, the slug
open
cars.
Cockpit, and the weird bubble.
Yeah, let's go. Be awesome.
Seriously.
All right, he goes to see Julie. Julie, of course, doesn't believe it's him. She's like, "You're not
smartest person in
there.
there.
Get out of here." Kicks him out. Right? Doesn't believe it's Alex. Hits the intruder button or whatever.
Yeah.
Right after he leaves, Vicendic shows up. Where's Furlong?
Yeah.
She's like,
dang.
Oops.
Is it then that she sees the medallion too?
Yeah, well, he
left it
he
there.
like shows it to her,
but
and
she
then,
doesn't believe it.
No, which is also like I feel like that's
So-
a weird. Like, how did that not?
I think she thought he'd already been free-jacked and taken over by a new person.
Well, that's
that
probably
makes
that's a
sense.
good.
Oh,
point.
I think she
Yeah.
does actually say that. She's like, whoever you are, you're not Alex.
Right. You used his body and that
Yeah.
was
Oh,
it,
well,
right?
that would make sense.
But what followed this now, he runs out of that building because now Vicendic's
Terrible
there.
Fashion. That man
The-
does not know what's happening.
He steals a
There's
champagne
another
truck.
chase. I loved this chase.
Yes. that
Champagne
was a
truck,
great
baby.
chase.
Why is that
Champagne
champagne truck look so
great.
hokey? Champagne's kind of like a high fluting drink.
Every time he turns a corner, there's
Bottles
champagne
flying
bottles.
out of his
Great.
It's like a Mario Kart.
Did you see the car that was supposed to go off the ramp but didn't go off
Yes.
the ramp and just ding donged all over the place? You're just like, oh, that was not supposed to happen.
Yeah, that and I appreciated that. Like the colorful vehicles that the bad guys had, there was like blue and purple and red cars, and I'm like, they
What's
usually
that
just
Sheila?
are all
Then
black.
they had like a weird mystery machine tank thing that was
Yeah,
like
it said
purple,
Sheila
and
on
it was
it.
like
Yeah.
Sheila.
It said Sheila on it.
Did it? Oh, is that the one? I didn't see. I
At the
didn't see
very end, you
name.
get the
I don't know.
shot of it. It says Sheila across
Nice.
the side of it.
At one point, one of them they had like these Megaforce dune buggies
Yeah,
that
the
were all
dune buggies were
chasing
cool,
him.
man.
One of them
Yes.
and one of them almost killed James Brown on the sidewalk.
While playing a saxophone.
Did you hear that? I was like, why did they do that? Literally, the car pulls. All of a sudden, you hear, "Yeah, I feel good."
I think it was a James Brown.
Me and
thing.
Eli literally did that. I think we even rewatched that scene.
I think
'cause he's
that
like, "Wait, I gotta
actually
hear this
was
again."
James Brown. I think
Was
that
it?
that was a trivia part.
Oh my gosh! They literally used the from James Brown as a pedestrian as a pedestrian scream, like as it tried to get out of the way.
That was
of these
great.
cars.
That was also my favorite like quote in the
Oh,
movie.
it was the
No, but it comes from this chase though. It's when the Vicendic,
yeah.
he's on the laptop.
Oh,
and
the
Alex
MacBook
just
from hell, yeah.
he just, he just closes it. He's
he's
like,
opening
and it goes back, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm scared of the dark." And it opens back up, and he's like, "Kidding, you can't get rid of me that easily."
That was the cringiest acting.
Oh, it was terrible
Yes,
acting.
that was so funny
but
how it kept opening back
yes,
up.
it just kept opening. That was great.
I just Batman that thing. Just punch the screen or rip the screen off.
Well, it didn't even look like it was attached to anything. It looked like it was just sitting there.
That's what I want. Again, why can't we have MacBooks where I can open it myself if I'm on a
Yeah,
Zoom call and I want to go, "Hey, what's up?"
I feel like
Someone's calling you and automatically opens.
Right? Imagine if I called you, your
yes.
laptop's on your desk and it's just like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Charles."
You're playing it like a PlayStation 10 came out and
That
you're
was
playing
so
a game
funny.
and a video call just comes in, interrupts your game and just says, "Hey, how you doing?"
Oh,
I
that
know.
would be so great.
That was such a weird thing. And then he's like, "Give up."
Bad.
He's like, "Jason, give up, Vicendic. You couldn't catch a cold. You couldn't catch the clap at a whorehouse."
And then he's like, "Oh, look behind you," and he almost gets his head taken off.
Yeah.
Yes.
He goes under a semi and it shaves the whole top of his car.
Yeah, it's
off.
just it's gone.
It also is a different truck then.
Yeah, it
It
changes
goes
trucks.
from a larger truck to a smaller truck
Yep.
so that
Yes.
it can actually do that maybe. That was so
Oh
funny.
man. And what's funny is at the end of this chase, I thought it was actually a really cool moment. He's driving down the bridge. What's he going to do? And he leaps into the river.
He jumps out of the
off the bridge.
Did green screens not work as well back then?
No, see, that's what I was going to say. Is it was a cool moment, a cool idea, ruined by a terrible green screen.
Yeah.
It was
like
awful.
blue screen, wasn't it?
I mean,
What happened?
not just this, but multiple times in the
there
movie,
were
you can
several
see
those,
some
yeah.
really clear. And I know it was like kind of newish
When he
tech.
they walk into the building together, and you can
Yes.
see behind his
Yeah.
hair,
Yes.
the back of the wall.
It's not good.
What's happening there?
I mean,
Like turn a fan on. Like his wind, my boy's wind
There's
is.
a couple. Yes.
His hair's not even blowing in the wind. He gets up. The truck's going like 100 miles an hour on the
you're
bridge.
right. I
He
didn't
gets
even
up,
notice that
He's like,
his
I'm going to
hair
jump
wasn't
off, and
moving.
his hair is just still.
Actually, it was a little inconsistent because I'm like, oh, his hair's not moving. Then in another scene, it was moving.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe that's why I didn't notice it.
maybe he's
because
giving
it
a
was
shout out to like
occasionally.
some
Turn a fan on, my guy.
hair gel or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he just had like great hairspray or hair.
That
So,
was
so
rough.
that was early green screen
Yes,
work.
it was.
Or computer green screen stuff.
And it
was.
stinks. Anything that came after T2, because
You're just hosed, right?
You're hosed.
Yeah.
You're screwed. Because T2 had the best, still to this day, some of the best CGI work.
I don't quite know why they needed to do that. They could have made that a lot like real.
Just did it with a stuntman or something.
Stuntman.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but here's what I do know. We get to meet Eagle Man.
Yes.
So Alex,
Frankie Faison.
Best,
he falls into the.
That guy.
best character in the movie.
You thought so?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, he was
I
good.
have a quote here.
All right, well, hang on. So just so people know who Eagle Man is, Alex has jumped off the bridge to escape this car chase. And I don't know how far down the river, but at some point down the Hudson, he emerges into like some kind of homeless like tent city. It seems
On
like
the river.
on the river, out of the water. And there's this guy just sitting here.
And Mick Jagger, if it's in the character, says, if he drinks any of that, like, this is over.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh, the
like,
river.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of a dumb line because he clearly drank some of that.
Yeah, I thought that too. I'm like,
Are we, is the movie over now?
No,
or
I
like,
know.
all right, it's all good. We'll go
well, I
on
mean, it
something
would have
else.
saved you another hour of your life,
that's
probably.
true.
So
Yeah, so Eagle Man was just, I don't know, this weird dude. I mean, now, he had just done a movie with, he was in Maximum Overdrive with Emilio Estevez, this guy that played
okay.
Eagle Man.
Oh yeah, it's his name is Frankie Faison.
Thank you.
Faison, yeah.
nice.
And it's just, his whole purpose is to give this weirred parable.
Super charismatic.
Yeah,
Right?
it was great. Well, mine, I wasn't expecting the like
Rat.
dynamic. Yeah, well, no, that wasn't it's that. At that, I was like, all right, whatever. It's a bad town future. Everybody eats weird
Yeah.
things in the future for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, like
Looked pretty
McDonald's.
good.
But well,
I
yeah,
love McDonald's.
valid.
I know it's bad for me, but I still
All
like
the
it.
sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet
That's
that
right.
guy could make a rat taste all right.
Probably.
But I wasn't at first. I was like, oh, maybe this will be because, like I said, we watched it first. I wasn't really paying attention the first time, but I saw this guy and I was like, okay, maybe this will be like the like turning. I mean, it was, but
Yeah.
you'll give him like a motivational speech. But then it was, but then it was like this just crazy person giving this speech, and I was like, okay, wasn't expecting that, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to understand the meaning of the parable, and I think what he's saying is,
Would you like
'cause
me to say it for you?
Alex, what the meaning of it is, or the whole parable? Why don't we need to do the whole thing?
I feel like that's another Patreon special.
but,
There you go. I can read it as a Patreon special.
well, let's do that
Yeah.
but basically, like, Alex says something like,
He says,
"What's
"Man,
the point?"
If
Right?
it's come down to this, what's the point?
Yeah. So he's basically giving up, and I think the point is like,
The Eagle Man says, he riddles me.
yeah,
The lifelong question.
The ancient riddle.
Oh,
What's
that's
the
close.
point? And then he gives this super weird story about
Yeah.
an eagle almost making it back to its nest. Mm-hmm. And he goes plunging down and down and down. Bam! He's just a splatter of feathers, and then we don't have the national bird of America no more.
I mean,
Did
there
you ever
are
see
other
that?
eagles, but
No.
just that one specific.
Eagle
one.
Man. Me neither. Eagle's got too much self-respect. How's yours?
that's right. So basically, saying that when the eagle got tired of the struggle, he stopped being an eagle.
Yeah.
Is that the point of the
No,
message?
the eagle's so
guess.
awesome he never gets tired of the struggle.
Right.
He never gets bammed.
I think he was saying that was like the point of the description of it.
I was really trying to make the connection there. And at the end, as he walks away, he's like, "You ain't done yet, Furlong."
He knows his name?
He knew his name.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. He never even said.
Yeah,
like,
no,
he
no,
just
no,
said.
no,
Did he
like,
even say his? I think. Did he even say his first name?
No, he just said Furlong.
Well, he's
Oh.
like the
Oh, that's true. He is like Mr.
he's like the
number
magic
one.
black guy.
And there's also this random pair of feet dangling behind.
The magic black guy.
Yeah,
and-
there used to be these things. I was gonna.
It was a kind of a trope. Yeah. The magic black guy with the secret knowledge.
Usually it was a woman. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like in the Swamp movie with the Disney princess. They go to Mama.
Princess and the Frog?
Yeah, what was it, Mama Juju or whatever?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't remember her name, though. But I know
Talking,
like
Charles. I love
Good
this.
old Mama Juju.
Baba Juju.
All
I
right.
think you might have need some editing on this episode. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
So Julie enlists the help of Special Agent Johnson.
Special Agent Johnson. I love, dude.
This is
I saw
Special
him.
Agent Johnson.
Oh, Grant L. Bush.
Yeah, from Die Hard.
Is that Morgan?
Yeah, and the greatest bad movie of all time, Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. He
was
played Balrog.
Yes.
So did you ever see Die Hard?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember when the FBI finally shows up and is like, I'm Agent Johnson, this is Special Agent Johnson, no relation. But they're like, there's a black guy and a white guy.
Yeah.
Which is what makes the no relation joke funny.
Yeah, right.
But it was the black Special Agent Johnson was Boone in this movie. It was the guy. Yeah.
Oh.
So Julie gets Boone,
like Boone.
to help find
great.
Alex, right? And they
Carried a katana for some reason.
Yeah, they find him in this like again tent city with these homeless people, and she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you, whatever. Come with me, and we'll go. We got to hide you. There's all people looking for you everywhere. So let's take you to a club where there's thousands of people
It's
And a reporter
And
lady,
then
too.
leave him by himself.
with a drink.
And they just saw he's worth $10 million.
Yeah,
That changed, actually. It started out at 17 million, and then it went to 10.
But then she said he was worth 18.
Well, the newscaster does win my Hot Babe Award.
Do you know who that was? That was Mick Jagger's girlfriend at the time, Jerry Hall.
that was his.
really?
Yeah, that was his girlfriend.
Nice.
They were together for a long time.
Bob was hoping to get Freejack back into '91 so he could date the.
She was pretty attractive. I don't know. I
was
think I'd
gorgeous.
probably take Renee.
Well, this is something they did get right about the future. Is everyone's got their own channel they're doing content for.
Yes. Yep.
So
It's true.
she's like
Foreshadowing.
foreshadowing.
I don't get the weird different drinks. Like, why would there only 18, 19 years later be totally different drinks?
Yeah, I don't know. And apparently, it's so strong he can't even.
Yeah,
nail.
it's like
he's
green.
He has a sip and
blue.
he's seeing
Yeah.
cross-eyed.
He's like,
And so this girl comes
can't
up to
eat
him
for a while. Maybe
That's true, too.
On an empty stomach.
and this, we'll tell her, we'll give her the bad timing award. She comes up and she's like, "Hey, I'm the Club Channel girl, and can I interview you?" It's like, why? And she's like, "Tell me your name." He's like, "I'm Alex Furlong. I'm a Freejacker, and everyone's after me."
Seriously, he knew he was in trouble. Why would he? I guess the alcohol
he
or
was
drink or
drunk.
whatever.
That
He's
was
still
just
confused. He's
very-
like, bro, I don't
Yeah.
know what's going
His
on
whole
here.
That was dumb writing.
His whole motivation was confused doe in the headlights.
I will say his message to Vicendic was pretty funny.
No, the
Yeah.
message to
Okay,
his
I'm
side
not
was
going to
very
repeat
funny.
it here.
It was very,
obviously.
very Arnold-esque.
It
Yeah.
was, and that's
It
why
was.
it made me laugh because I was so shocked by it. Like I did not think that's what he was going to say. A well placed, well timed expletive can be very funny.
It's, yeah.
Very funny.
Can I say another funny part in this moment
Yeah.
is, what's Renee Russo's character's name?
What? Julie.
Julie
Yeah,
is talking
Julie
to that Morgan guy.
Redland.
And he says, "You sure we should leave him alone?" And she says, "Oh, he's like very resourceful." And it
Yeah.
reminded me of Indiana Jones with when Jones is talking to his dad. About,
Oh, yeah.
about what's his name, the museum guy. He's like, "Oh,
Brody.
Brody can do all this stuff." And then Brody's like, "I'm totally lost." And Alex is giving his name
Yeah, he's
away.
just-
Who I am?
Does anyone here
Freejack.
speak English?
So
Got lost in his own museum.
that's
Yeah,
right.
lost in his own museum.
The reason Julie brought him to this club is because there's this guy Mac there that's supposedly good at helping Morgan, whatever. Well, yes, thank you. Hiding people.
Yes.
Right.
He looked like a corpo disguised as an awesome dude.
And he's into like giant foot sculptures.
Yeah, weird sculptures.
Yeah, okay. I thought again.
I
was
couldn't
just
buy
losing
that
it.
guy as anything other
Yeah.
than.
Is this what hangovers are like in the future? No, this is what crappy art is like in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like an accountant.
That guy was terrible.
That was awful. But he's supposed to be able to help them. And
He rolls in a bomb like a flashbang, and then next you see him, he's got him on his shoulder running out the door. He's all bobbing around.
he tells Julie, call McCandless because she works for
He's like,
McCandless.
this is
and
too big for me.
and-
Call McCandless.
he's like, you guys have a good relationship. And McCandless is Anthony Hopkins. And so we'd actually seen him very shortly before when we saw her working
She
there.
was supposed to be in Tokyo.
She had a Zoom call while he was in Sydney, Australia, and definitely not in front of a green screen.
Yeah, no way.
Even though the opera house was not in the right place to where or facing the right direction.
You're not supposed to look at that too hard. You're not supposed to question it.
she gets on another Zoom call with Anthony Hopkins, who's the guy that's ahead of the corporation.
Kansas.
And he's like, aren't you in Tokyo? How's Tokyo? And she's like, no, I got this Freejacker. And it's very interesting what he says. He says, well, look, he's somebody else's property.
Yes,
Yeah.
interesting
Right?
conversation.
He's dead. He belongs to someone else. Like, I can't really do a whole lot to help you, but I'll see what I can do.
Yep.
This is, I think, the most interesting thing about this movie is answering this question is, are they really wrong in what they're doing? I think they are, but it's interesting that, I mean, he was going to die if
He
they
was
hadn't
dead,
grabbed
right?
him.
His life was over.
His life was over.
So
And admittedly, you're not even supposed to ever know this happened.
you're not supposed to know it happens.
This is the 1%'s obsession with
Yeah.
power and immortality.
Yes.
Yep.
Just because you can do something probably doesn't mean you should.
It does,
do something.
it's the ultimate Jeff Goldblum question. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
And so does he have a right to his own life, even though his life is supposed to be over?
Yes, you have the right to your
Yeah.
own life and you have the right to die, but not to take
Yeah,
someone else's
not
life.
to take somebody's body.
Regardless if it's
Yeah.
could
perfectly
sort of
well
view it-
timed.
You could sort of view it as body desecration
Yeah. Okay.
because you're
that's
not giving
true, yeah.
consent for my
That's
body
true.
to be used.
Well, there you go. That helps me
He's still
put a
alive
bow
too.
on it.
He pulled him right before he died.
Right.
So yeah.
So he's not dead.
So he's not
technically dead,
He's
too.
not
That's
technically
true.
dead.
You
Yeah.
stopped him from dying,
Yes.
therefore his life should continue.
Exactly.
I did think about that too. That's probably why I didn't understand the Freejacks. Is because they were like, oh, they're supposed to be dead, but they pulled him right before he died.
Because they
Right.
think they turn their brain to mush with those little
Lobotomizers.
tinfoil zappers.
And then again, if they happened before,
Yeah.
what are we doing, people?
But even if their bodies came in without their brain functioning,
Right.
it still would be body
Yeah.
desecration.
Desecration. That's true.
You don't have permission to use this man's
That's
body.
true.
Now, I suppose if he was donor,
Yeah.
they could probably get around the skirt that. Look, his wallet's
Well,
his donor.
we get the scene we all knew was
I'm taking
coming.
donor off my tag because I don't want to get Freejack.
Oh, you're being Freejack.
I mean, my body's pretty awesome. It could go on for a while, maybe make
Listen,
a lot of
if
money.
I die and no one finds the body, just know that I'm like I'm in 2057
Yeah.
or something,
I'll come for
Yeah.
you.
and I'm
Come
running
with
for
you.
my life. Okay.
Running for your
All
life.
We'll come for
appreciate
you,
it.
man.
Knowing my luck, I'd be Freejack completely and be like, I'm some rich guy. But you
Right.
know,
Who
take
knows?
care of it, oil it, make sure you put some nice suntan lotion,
no.
get it nice and
That's-
bronzed, and
yeah, nice.
All right. So the next
Yeah.
scene is the one we all knew was coming.
you do
It's
some surgery, take some of the skin away.
Emilio Estevez and Rene Russo are sitting on the edge of a bed. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
here we go.
Quick,
Bounce-
I need a
bounce,
saxophone
chicken, wow, wow.
guy. That's what I said. That's what I
Just looking
wrote.
forward to kissing his butt again.
And
Nice.
he goes for the Megaforce, right? He goes for the kiss the finger, put it on her face. Okay. And she's like, no, Alex, don't.
stop,
I'm much
please.
older than you now. And I went, you look exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could they at least try to age her by 20 years?
No.
They didn't even try to make her look older.
I
Just
think a guy would be like, yeah,
Add
I'm
it-
20 years younger than me.
add a patch of gray or something in her hair. Something. She's trying to act like, oh gosh, I'm so much older than you now.
much older.
So what?
He's like, I don't care.
He's like,
You still
whatever.
look beautiful.
He goes in again. She's like, you don't understand. I watched you die. Saxophone. Literally. It's what happened.
Insert careless
That's what I
whisper.
said. Need the saxophone
Why?
guy.
Did you heard the sax?
Yep.
And they didn't show anything, right? They just kind
Yeah.
of fade to the next scene. But why do they always have to bring in the saxophone for these scenes? Who decided?
Saxophone sexy.
Who
baby.
decided that the
Sexy
saxophone
time.
was going to
George
be
Michaels did.
the
Kenny
ultimate?
G, man.
I just don't get how the saxophone got attached to that.
If my son wasn't in the room, I might admit something, but
All right,
I'm not going
all
to.
right. I
Yeah,
don't want
let's. I'm all right.
Cover your ears, earmuffs. You already got earmuffs on.
Yeah.
Here, put some more on. You got
Put on Kenny G, baby. I'll be home soon.
I'm
I'll
a
take
lord.
my glasses off.
Oh,
All right, hold on, don't.
Charles, you have wiper blades on your glasses for when you go.
They get all steamy. You gotta. I put that rain stuff where it just drips off.
Charles,
I can literally feel how uncomfortable Eli is right now.
Actually,
That's okay.
You'd be
He's laughing.
surprised. Look, some of the stories he's told on mission trips, man.
All right, well, let's move on with this movie. We're already at an hour here. All right, so
That's it?
How do you
I'm surprised.
how do you level up your hatred for a bad guy? You
Have him
him
beat up a nun.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. But she kicks him in the balls.
Yeah, I was
She's
like,
not a
that
nun.
nun.
She's not a normal nun. She was great.
She was awesome.
built
She's none with a
different,
gun.
though.
She ain't
Yeah.
no, she's not a normal.
I just
nun.
think
She's
it's
got
great.
a great line there too.
Right. She says,
turn the other
The
cheek.
Lord
That's
says,
right.
"Turn the other cheek," but not about assholes or something.
right, he
Like
said, but he never had to deal with dickheads like
yeah.
you. And I'm like,
which is not technically true.
yeah, he did.
I was gonna say, I think she needs to go back and study up a little bit more.
The good Lord says always to turn the other cheek.
That's right.
Swings up foot. Michelet in the groin. Michelet groans in pain. But he never had to deal with dickheads like
That's right. Kicked him right square in the nuts.
That poor John Banks was just getting
he
the
was a
crap kicked out
bad
of him.
character.
He did. He got blasted all the time.
Yeah.
He was such a wuss.
He
Michelet,
was. He was not a good. He was not a good bad guy.
No.
But he's pumping
And he
trying to
wasn't
get information out of her.
He is,
basically.
but his problem was his writing was bad about it.
Yes, the writing in this movie was not.
Because
Not
he's
very
supposed to
good.
be like conniving and stuff, but then he's so weak looking. Like in that interview thing or the negotiation, he's weak,
Yeah.
and then he gets beat up by a nun.
Yeah.
And
he goes cross-eyed. She got him so
Yeah.
Vacendic is like making fun of
Right.
him.
good. She got both of them because
Yeah,
he was
she
just
got-
like,
yeah,
"Meh."
he was-
He-
As someone
his
who
soul left his
recently
body.
pulled a groin abdominal muscle,
Yeah.
it's very painful.
How
That's
is
not
that? You feeling better, by the way?
I am feeling better.
Okay, good.
It wasn't those, but it was close, and it's painful.
All right. So apparently,
Probably should cut that
apparently
out.
Anthony,
TMI.
apparently Anthony Hopkins helped them arrange a boat. Okay, there's a boat that's going to come.
Why?
He said, "Jump." Where were they going? I don't understand.
Why was there the
get him out of the city.
saxophone music playing as oh crap, Alex and Boone are just walking away?
Well, I know.
Oh,
And
'cause
Julie's
maybe
just like-
it's a hint to the future of non-binary kind
Yeah,
of
I
relationships
don't know.
going on.
I did think it was a heartfelt scene. So before they get out of the car, like Alex and her have this
It was
goodbye.
good.
Yeah, then doesn't he give her? She give him the necklace.
just say
She
Yeah.
gives him the necklace
Which
back.
that's where my another favorite line comes in.
Yeah.
He's like, the last time he gave me this. I don't know."
yeah, she.
And those cars are super claustrophobic.
They
There's
are.
like no
Yeah.
windows.
Oh no.
I'm like,
She
"Get
says
out of
to
this
him-
roly boly bug car.
She's like, I'm not coming with you. And he's like,
Where was he going?
he was just getting out of the city to escape essentially, right? And she says, I've got this life. And he's like, why aren't you coming? And she said, if I had told you the day of that big race to drop everything and come with me, what would you have said? He said, I would have said no. They have like this mutual
It was nice.
understanding.
Yeah.
It was nice. And they say goodbye to each other. And he leaves to go with Boone. And I was so sure Boone was going to double cross him as
yeah?
they're walking up there. Because he, I
Well,
just
there's
like,
the part where he's
he
like,
hated the thing he pulled out the
What
stick,
about
right?
us, white man?
Yeah, right.
Keep my grandma smiling.
Okay, can we talk
Yeah.
about that?
What
What
was
does that mean?
I don't know what that means. Well, because he's like a hero. My wife was confused with this too.
Yeah.
My only thing I can make of it was he's become a hero of the people because he's a freejacker that's still.
But who walks up to Emilio and high fives him? Like there was no.
Not one time did they ever show that to be
No.
true, that the
Yeah.
people were behind him.
Yeah,
No.
there was nothing to say. We're behind
Maybe the
you.
Eagle Man, that was it.
Well,
right?
was the Jerry Hall thing? Was there something in that where it's like, oh, he's free?
Yeah, maybe, but they didn't really do a great
Wasn't done up well.
job. And so as he's
written in
walking,
there.
as Boone is walking Alex to the boat, he's like, you made my grandmother and all these other people happy, keep fighting all this stuff. And then the boat, boom, boom, just
Blows up.
explodes. And Vacendic is there. He's like, all of his cronies like rise up out of the background, right?
Bone jackers.
The Bone Jackers. And they're like, this whole gunfight ensues. And
Who are the other people?
so then McCandless sends his own guys.
Oh, that's right. They were.
or not McCandless, Michelet.
Michelet. That's
Michelet sends his own
That's right.
guys.
Yeah, that whole gunfight is a mess of a scene.
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
what is
Yeah, I don't know
happening.
what's happening.
It's not lit well.
No.
You don't know who's shooting at who.
No, you don't
But there's
why,
three
yeah.
parties. There's Alex and Boone who are trying to get away.
Right.
Michelet's guys are trying to take out Vicendic's guys, and
Right,
Vicendec
yeah.
is trying to get Alex.
Right.
And so they all end up fighting each other.
I'll
And then they
fight
do a
you.
weird standoff later.
Yeah, and so Boone gets killed.
Yeah, rest in peace.
That was a terrible. He's got the
Yeah.
katana. That scene, the
Yes.
guy's like, his face,
Yeah.
and then he stabs.
Just
That was
stabs
really
him,
awful. My
and
wife
then-
was busting out loud at that scene.
Oh, I thought it was funny.
Laughing. It was so funny. She thought. I'm like, I don't think the motive is supposed to be laughter.
No, it
hilarity.
was-
No, the dumb thing though is what Bob said when he comes up to him and he's like, "Keep my grandmother smiling.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here."
And then he just
Yeah, I
dies.
don't get the grandma speech.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
I give Boone credit for giving it with all he can.
Well, he at least hung on. He hung on to that grenade until the other dudes showed up and
Yeah.
blew himself up.
oh, that's what happened. Because I was like, it looked like he just got shot in the shoulder, which I may not.
That guy kills
but-
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He got shot in the shoulder and the pecs. Looks like he got shot in
I
the
don't know.
pecs.
Oh, I don't.
Regardless,
somewhere.
at one point they're all kind of now inside this industrial building, and Vacendic is there. He's got his stupid Spaceballs helmet on.
Yep.
He's now Alex has picked up a gun and he's got him dead to rights, but he doesn't shoot.
Yes.
Yep.
And at the same time,
It's trash. You forgot about Trash Can Man versus Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
oh, the one guard that's like the Terminator.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
gets that big old thing, and he
Shock therapy, baby.
That was so dumb.
It was a bad
hits him
fight.
with with the board, and
He
nothing
just hits him with the
happens. He just
pipe
turns
and-
around. Yeah, it was a big pipe
Yeah,
too.
right.
And he turns around, right, and he won't die. He's got to electrocute him. That was
It's like, good. You found the one Terminator
Yeah.
guard in the entire.
Seriously.
He picked the one that was impervious to
Everybody
everything.
else is like flying around like they're made of paper.
Yeah.
And this guy's impervious to everything. Yeah, no, you're right. So after he defeats that guy with his electroshock therapy.
Connects electricity to his rat tail underneath his helmet. Bang.
He's got Vicendic dead to rights, and right at that time, Michelette's guys show up,
Bad guys show. Those guys show.
and Alex saves Mick Jagger's
Shoots-
life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Shoots the other guys.
And he comes out, and Jagger. I mean,
They have this, like,
Jagger
kinda
says,
standoff.
Why didn't you kill me? He says, I was going to, but those guys were in the way.
Right? I'm like, that's maybe not the best thing to say. You had a chance here to try and make,
Yeah,
like, don't say that. But he says, I want a name. He's like, Alex puts the gun down. He says, I don't care about all this. I just want a name. This is Emilio really trying.
He was trying.
He was trying to muster it up.
And I'm not sure putting the gun away
Was
is
smart.
your good move there. Like,
No.
you've
Oh,
got
yes.
a gun
I'm
on
gonna
him.
intimidate you with
He's like,
nothing.
I'm so mad I'm putting the gun down.
Yes.
Pacifism. Rise up.
But he does give him the name.
Gives him the name.
It's McCandless,
McCandless.
which was the most obvious twist
Yeah, that was
ever.
I didn't know it.
And I didn't want to talk about it till we got to it.
Yeah. It was.
But it's like all over the whole movie. It's clear.
yeah, 100%.
Literally, the first time we
Well-
see Jonathan Banks, he's sitting in front of a McCandless sign.
You know
Right?
that Anthony Hopkins can only be in this movie if he's bad.
Like, why else is he
Why
here?
else is he here?
So one, you cast it in a way that you would
Yes.
know the twist. You telegraph the twist in
Yes.
every single scene. The only
fact that
billionaire.
he's on the poster made me know he was a bad guy.
Right.
All this for love.
All of it.
All this to get some punani.
Oh, that's true.
My God.
nice.
90 years old, you can't find a single babe that fit the bill. Come on, you're doing something seriously wrong.
Right. As if, and what's funny about this, well, we'll get to that. I got something for later when we get to that. But yes. So he says, give me a name. He gives him, and he says, now, just so you don't know, Mick Jagger says, just so you don't think I don't value my life highly, I'll give you a 5 minute.
5 minute start.
And he starts doing the one Mississippi. And
Yeah.
Alex takes off. First of all, he manifested like 20 more guards that were just there.
Yeah, they were all like, uh-oh.
A second ago they
Alex
weren't,
is
and then
in
they were.
trouble.
He runs back to the car where Julie was, which is now a flaming wreck.
Yes.
Yep.
But Julie rolls
Shows
up
in
in
the
a tank.
red armored car.
that she totally knows how to operate.
Yeah, of course. She's Julie.
Right. Although she doesn't know what the red flashing buttons mean.
Maybe we should check into red flashing buttons.
It's a check engine light.
She's like,
Check it.
Alex, come on, get in. And they call Michelette from inside the tank.
Yes.
And he promises safe passage to headquarters. He's like, come on in.
Does he tell
In a
Julie
very-
that
in a-
her boss is in it yet?
Not yet.
No.
No.
He's
not
very
yet.
convincing. Yeah, I'll give you safe passage into the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Is
he's
this the scene where he's like fake holding her hostage?
Yeah, and
Okay.
he's like got her,
Not yet, not yet.
well, there's two
Oh,
of them.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
on
yeah,
I was
the-
gonna say,
on the
I'm
Zoom
pretty
call.
sure it is,
tank.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to protect her job, I'm guessing, like by saying
Yeah.
it was done against her will. But he's like, McCandless is on his way back. He'll meet you here, whatever. Come on in. So he goes to headquarters, and
The worst wax dummy I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
and he says, he comes up to, they go up this elevator. There's all these dudes in the worst green screen entrance of a lobby of all time. Like you couldn't go up an escalator. You had to green screen this.
You're
Yeah, why
making
can't you
when
do
Suburban Commando is making your movie look bad. That's
Yes.
a problem.
They go up the elevator. They get to Michelette's office, and Michelette's like, yeah, he's in the, McCandless is in the next room. Do you want to go meet him? And they walk in, and there's his dead body.
Yeah.
It's Anthony Hopkins' dead body, a.k.a. a plastic dummy of Anthony Hopkins.
It looks like they just
She
stretched
says,
his
"Where's
face
Mac? I
out.
want to see him." He says, "He's right next door in the next office." And you show him, and she walks over, and he's
Yeah.
in the casket.
But there's an interesting twist here in that Michelette has no intention
Right.
of handing over Alex
Yep.
Yeah, he
to
just
be
wants
switched.
Because he
Just wants to
knows
kill
if
him,
Mac
right?
dies, he
He
gets
gets
the
the
company. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
the VP.
So he's like,
I don't know
so
if that's how that actually works.
no reason to fight. You mean he's like, you're definitely fired to Julie,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Your services are no longer required, but you guys can go.
Yeah.
And then it's,
Why would you let them go?
well, he doesn't.
You bring him up the elevator
Yeah.
to bring him back down the elevator.
and then he goes,
this is too
when they
easy.
get down there, please kill both of them.
This is a good line.
Yeah.
They're
Make
going
any
down the
sense.
elevator,
Yeah,
and he
he's like-
pulls out his guns. He got one bullet, and he says, "One shot." He says, and then he says, "Can we get them all to stand in a line?"
Yeah, I
he
forgot
knows he's
about that
incapable of
line.
doing
That
it.
was
It's
a
like,
pretty, that
can
was
we
a
just
pretty
get them all
good
to
line, I
stand?
thought. That was pretty good.
That was good. I forgot about that.
But what follows is like
Of course, all the geeks online were like, that gun wouldn't show that.
Contrived elevator nonsense, right? Like they go up, they go down, they go up.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get the pieces where they need to go, right? So
they had to have time for Vicendic to get there,
right,
to kill.
So they get down as the door opens to the lobby. They're about to get murdered. Vicendic shows up and takes those guys out. So then they go back upstairs thinking we're going to go back to the 100th floor.
Right.
Like, why not just escape from the lobby?
Well, they got to go up to the brain.
And
mind.
We're going up to the icon.
They weren't. They didn't want to go there. They auto took them there.
That's right.
They tried to get off at 100. Like, I know about a fire escape on the 100th floor. I'm like, you were just on the ground.
That's true.
Why is there only a fire escape on the 100th floor?
I don't. Yeah,
Nobody
it's
is
just the only
getting-
one she knows about.
Maybe that's where McCandless.
We all John McClane. We all John McClaning off of this building.
But the elevator, takes over and takes them all the way. She goes, "We're going to the top." All the way to floor 200 where the spiritual switchboard.
Where Mac is in control.
That's right.
Because Mick Jagger's like, Mac is taking them to the spiritual switchboard.
That's right. He's in the machine. He's the ghost in the machine.
He is.
Again.
And it's just like they get up there and it's like a giant eyeball.
Yeah, and then it turns into really
Sauron.
weird stuff like 90s.
Freaking Sauron.
Yeah. Can we put every sort of computerized image we can get?
Yeah.
It was hodgepodge. That was
for sure. That's a great way of putting
the
it.
worst.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like when movies that are really bad make your CGI look worse.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing I thought was really odd?
Yeah.
Considering some things. Considering Anthony Hopkins is in this movie. Mm-hmm. When they actually get to his mind, the backdrop looks very much like Westworld.
It does.
Which I thought was super weird considering that Anthony Hopkins plays the main guy who created the Westworld scene.
This is
and
true.
This is many, many decades before that came out. So
Foreshadowing.
seriously, did he like this movie enough? He's like, I kind of want my Westworld.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He had a terrible haircut in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only Anthony Hopkins knows, and I don't know.
I guess
There's some movies that he does. I just go.
the IMDb
"Why?"
said he really hated this movie. Thought it was terrible.
Well, that's sad. Well, so he gets up there and Anthony Hopkins is talking to the two of them and he's being all magnanimous and he says, I did it for love.
But I realized how evil that was.
Yeah, I sentenced myself to death.
Which I feel like like you mentioned earlier, like his whole motive is just for Julie. I feel like that's so.
So let women control you that
dumb.
much, really?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
ever just buy yourself a Playboy, man. Jeez Louise.
what he says to her is, no matter what I did, nothing I had would ever
Right.
get you to love me. And so I was going to take over the body of your dead boyfriend.
Yeah.
Gross.
What was his plan there? How was he going to communicate that?
She
It
would
was
have been
so
like,
dumb.
no, thank you.
Yeah, she would have been like, okay, something's off here. I don't know about that one. Chief.
When would she discover that something was off?
Yeah,
I mean,
Would it have
Probably
been like when they went out to
Alex
dinner?
shows up and says, "Oh, by the way, I'm McCandless."
Yeah, the
dead
guy, the
boyfriend's
villain.
body
Yeah,
now.
the villain wasn't very smart. He probably would have like kicked down the door and been like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm not actually Alex, but
Right.
I'm this guy." And she'd be like, "What? What are you doing, bro?"
Yeah, and what's funny about this, the two of them, Anthony Hopkins and Rene Russo, would be husband and wife in the Thor movies. They play Odin and Freya.
Oh my God, I forgot to think of. Wow.
So they end up together
Wow.
in the Marvel universe.
So
That is so
basically,
crazy.
this whole movie.
So you're telling me Kenneth Branagh watched the Freejack and said, those are my Odins.
It's Odin and Freya right there.
Odin and Freya.
Yikes!
Isn't that funny?
Oh my God.
He's quite a bit older than her.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
He's Anthony Hopkins.
He's born in
But of course, he had a
37,
big
and
issue
she's-
finding love in this movie.
Yeah,
He's born in 37. She's born in 54.
Ooh, that's almost
That's a lot.
20 years.
Yeah,
Not as bad as Demi Moore and Chevy Chase, though.
that's true.
Yeah.
What?
So basically, he's telling him like, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you guys live and you can pretend to be me and it's easy and you'll be a millionaire and you'll have my company and all this. And honestly, I would have fallen for it because I believe anything Anthony Hopkins
I did
says.
think he was going to do it.
That's how good of an
Yeah.
actor he is.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, I buy it. Like, so I would have been hosed if I had been Alex because I would.
And he even tells the syndic, he says, stand down or tells
Yeah.
him code, whatever. And you're like, oh, this is really going to happen. He's going to
But he's stalling for
Yeah.
time is all that's happening
stalling.
because he has this little contraption come up through the ground. He's like, input this code, Alex, and it'll kill the transfer. It'll stop me and you'll be free to live and all this stuff. And he puts it in. I think he puts it in wrong on purpose the first time. He's like, you missed a number. Do it again. And then Alex finally realizes, he goes, you're stalling.
Yeah.
And right then, Vicendic comes into the room.
Yeah.
This room. It's, the inside of his
And-
brain or whatever.
McCandless mind says, good job. You got here or something like that.
Yeah, I've been been talking to the simpleton for I don't know how long, and you realize that it was all a ruse.
At that point, I think he's sort of like, okay, the Julie Love thing ain't gonna happen because I'm gonna kill her boyfriend right in front of her, and I'm just want to live for longer.
Right now, it just became about the immortality, right? Yeah. And so they put their hands on this thing, and they're going to start the transfer at gunpoint,
So
essentially.
was there anything keeping his hands?
I got a feeling
the
it was like
machine?
he was stuck there.
It seemed like it was, but they didn't really do a good job of showing.
Because I was going to say, was it just like, could he have just been like, yeah,
I
you know
think
what,
he
I'm
couldn't
not into
take
this
his hands.
anymore.
Let's just assume he couldn't take.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Eli. If that was the case,
They
that
like
would
the
make a
blue
lot of
lightning
sense.
effect. They had that a lot.
They do.
'Cause
They
that showed up
they
there
did
as
that a
well.
lot.
Yeah.
And so the transfer seems to be happening. There's all these images of him being kind of his memories and being sucked away and all this stuff. And then out of nowhere, Rene Russo grabs the guard's gun and shoots the device, and it explodes.
Yep.
And McCandless disappears, and there are these two random nerds who apparently have been there the whole time. They've been in the room the whole time.
Geek Squad right there.
Yep. It's like, yeah, we've been
Don't
here.
mind us. Don't mind us.
So like the guy behind the curtain right over there.
Yeah.
And they're like, did it work? He's like, it was 22 and a half seconds. Sometimes the transfers happen at that time. Sometimes it takes longer.
Yeah.
We don't know. Is it really
Yeah,
him?
that was. I
how many
didn't-
of
I
these you have
thought that
walking
was
around?
dumb.
Decent twist. I think.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I thought it worked okay.
because now the audience also doesn't
Yeah,
know.
we're
Is
not
it
quite
him?
sure.
That's true. I mean, I didn't think that was dumb. I thought
Is
the
it-
line was dumb.
Is it McCandless? Is it? Is it
then
not?
He recites the ID
Yes.
identification.
That
Yeah,
is
so-
great.
so
that is
Shoot
awesome.
John Banks.
He just goes
Yes.
6.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So the way that Vicente,
Yeah, I thought that was the only number. And then he keeps going on. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, then he's
there's
like-
more numbers.
Continue. Which, that was
continue.
great. I think they should have just kept it there.
a 6?
It's
Just 6.
That would have been awesome.
And I think that would have made it
6.
so much better.
Yes.
I'm thinking of a number.
because Vicente isn't sure.
Between 1 and 10, is it 2?
Mick Jagger is also not sure if it's his boss now or not, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
and Banks is like, "Oh, are you kidding? It's not him. Don't fall for this garbage." Because now Michelet's
Right.
stumbled into the room all bloody
Because he wants to be in charge.
because he wants to be in
still
charge
wants
and he wants him to be dead. And so he says, "Make him recite his personal ID number. That's the only way that he'll know."
That's right.
And so Vicente raises the gun at Alex and says, "Okay," or McCandless or whoever he is, and says, "All right, recite it." And sure
1,
enough,
2,
he's like,
3, 4, 5.
That's right. It's the same combination of my luggage. Yeah, he just starts spouting numbers, and you're right. The first number was really delayed, and so you're like,
Yeah.
his number is 6.
I really think they should have just kept it there.
That's right. But he goes through this number,
Yeah.
and at the very end, Mick Jagger goes, correct, and turns and blows Jonathan Banks away.
not just blow, not just one
It was
shot.
because he's like, fine. And then the other guy.
Literally
Oh,
just
that's right, that's right.
firing
Shoot him.
squad wastes him.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's done.
Not
he
even
ain't coming
one
back.
shot. Literally just goes.
It's like
Open
6
fire.
shots that just go into him, and there's
Yeah.
like 2 people. It's like, dang, bro, you got him the
It was
first time. Calm
It was
down.
the 80s and 90s, man. One bullet was like 10 bullets in one
I
shot.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one of the funniest things in this movie to me was Emilio Estevez trying to act like Anthony Hopkins
Yeah.
when he woke up. I was like,
Like, is he acting like?
and
like,
you
there he
will
goes.
and you will wear something more appropriate, and we will go for a drive. And I'm like, oh, dude, just don't.
My wife's like, wait, is he trying to act like him? I'm like, yeah, listen now. And he's,
kind
there he
of.
goes.
And he basically says, "Thank you. I'm McCandless. So get my car, and we're gonna go for
It's
a
like
drive."
an old car.
Yeah.
It's a sexy car.
And so they they rally his car to the bottom, and as they're walking out, him and Rene Russo, he says, "I'll drive," which we don't realize is a
I
big
think,
mistake.
yeah, I was gonna say, I
Wait,
feel
where's
like
the nibble the ear thing?
That's later.
Oh, okay.
I feel like if they later on somehow alluded to the fact that this guy couldn't drive, I feel like that would.
They should have planted it earlier
Yeah,
in the movie.
that's yeah.
Yes.
And
Well,
then
and good.
I don't remember what I was gonna say now.
So, the other thing that's really stupid is if that's true, Vicente wouldn't be the only one that notices that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like maybe all the other people Elon Musk style standing around worshiping him would notice as well.
Probably.
We
All
have
of a sudden, our boss-
every major real life person. In
Well,
this.
I mean, with that, I mean, I guess
Almost everybody.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg. There we go.
There we go.
Almost everybody.
I mean, I guess he got a
They
new
tried
body,
to keep me on the spiritual switchboard. Sorry.
What were you saying? Eli?
I was saying
Sorry,
it could
buddy.
be because he got a new body, so maybe just
Maybe they're like, all right,
Yeah,
he
he
can
can-
drive
yeah, he can
now.
drive now.
But it's his mind, not his body.
yeah, well,
But
yeah.
the
But
the thing is that it's supposed to have he's supposed to have screwed up. So once he says, I'll drive, he drives a block away and there's Vicendic blocking the road.
And they're like, oh
And
no, is he going to get us?
so he walks up to the window and he says, McCandless couldn't drive. You've screwed up. I knew you'd make a mistake. And you're like, oh, he's hosed. But then he lets him go.
Well, I think he says to her, you need to teach him better.
Yeah, you'll have to train him better than that. And so Vicendic turns out to be a cool guy.
He's cool. He's like, hey, I got me a new buddy in McCandless.
Yeah, well,
too.
earlier, remember, he said it's
2.0.
rare to make friends in these.
Yeah.
In
And he's
these
like, we were
business.
friends.
Right, yeah.
I liked his henchman guy, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was pretty cool.
I liked him. Yeah.
Oh, the guy with the messed up face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And so that's also the same point that Julie realizes it's Alex.
Yeah.
It's really you. And then he says, how does he prove it to her?
He
says, yeah.
Nibble my
Nibble
ear.
my ear
my
for luck.
ear.
I was like, really?
And I looked at my wife and said, you called that one?
Yep.
Like, this is how we're going to end this
How we're gonna
movie.
end this.
This movie is
Nibble my
totally
ear.
Nibble my ear, and later she's kissing his butt.
Nicolas Cage, which should have been Emilio Estevez's character.
Oh, yeah? How would that have gone?
It would have been 10 times more crazy. Like 10 times more crazy.
At least there would have been some drama. Now.
Someone is trying to take my body. You don't understand.
Wait, wasn't he in a movie like that? He wasn't he?
Well, he's in Face Off, kind of, yeah. But that's how they ended this movie,
how it
guys. On
ends.
Nibble My Ear for luck and
Just as bad as the
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
So
actually say this: the Megaforce thumb kiss is more iconic than Nibble My Ear at this point.
they were going to make. He tried to go for the Megaforce
I
at one
know.
point. He was like, it's like, nope.
Nope,
Dang.
denied.
All right, well, let's do what we always do here, guys. We give out some awards to these movies. They deserve awards, just like any other movie. We're going to be the ones to give it to them. The first one we start with is the Will Patton Award for Intensity, which is an award we give out, not necessarily to the best actor. Sometimes it is. It's the one that,
I'm sorry. I apologize.
so it's not always the best actor. Sometimes it is. It's the one that was giving the most committed performance. They were 100% bought in, filled with intensity. That is the person that should win the Will Patton Award. So who do you guys have, Charles? Who's your Will Patton Award winner?
Frankie Faison.
Frank-
the man
the
on
Eagle
the
Man.
dock, the
Eagle,
Eagle
yeah,
Man.
tied with you, man. Frankie
He was
Faison,
awesome,
absolutely.
dude. He
Oh,
gave
wow,
that
all right.
Everything. That was my favorite character in the whole movie.
Absolutely.
He was great. I wish the whole movie had been about him living on that dock cooking rats, figuring that recipe
Oh,
out.
dude, Rat King versus Anthony Hopkins,
Yeah.
10 times better movie.
Seriously.
All right, fair enough. Is that who you got too then, I'm guessing?
Yes, I would
All
go
right.
with him.
Elijah, who you got?
I liked David Johansen, who was
Brad.
Brad. Me and Eli were like, you know what, this guy, he did it. He pulled the character off, especially I think in the future with his
Brad, he was good.
accent.
I could see that.
And he got in. He definitely got into the, especially when he's like the Freejackers. I've only seen him in 2D.
No, his speech, he was good. He was actually pretty good.
All the side characters in this movie were way better than the main cast.
Yeah, 100%.
No, yes, the biggest detriment to this movie
Was the main character.
was Emilio Estevez. Seriously, he held the whole thing back.
Yep.
And
He knew it too.
I feel we said that about Charlie Sheen in The Wraith.
I mean, maybe that's
Might have,
might have been the case. So for Will Patton, I actually had Jonathan Banks down for Will Patton. I think
yeah, he brought it.
he brought it, especially at the end when he's screaming at Vicendic and him and Alex when trying to read the personal ID card and his death scene and all that. I thought he really gave a lot to his performance, but I don't disagree with Frankie Faison. So he will ultimately, with 2 votes, win the Will Patton Award. So congratulations,
Frankie!
Eagle Man
Eagle Man.
wins the award.
He was a good.
Fly
character.
like an eagle.
Look, we're not going to, but Emilio Estevez was so bad in this movie. I almost thought about renaming the trash can from the Michael Duke. I said we're not going to.
I'll put my foot down right there.
I already said we're not going to. I said I thought about it.
How'd you let a thought creep like that? Young Guns.
He was that.
Young Guns
Listen,
2.
Bob, what you don't understand, it's these awards are not about their careers. Okay, we've given the trash can to people that had great careers. It's how they performed in that specific movie.
He deserves the trash can full of dirt. He's my trash can full of
Yeah,
dirt
he
winner.
was. He was for me as well.
How about for you, Charles?
My trash can is
Don't you say the reporter.
Jerry Hall.
no.
No, thank you.
I would say that he is bad, Emilio,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to give my trash can to him.
Okay.
I'm going to give it to the guy who played Morgan.
Oh.
I did not like him.
Okay.
Oh, yes,
thought
the guy that
he
looked like
had,
an accountant.
no
Charisma.
The
Yeah.
most charisma he had was drinking.
Yeah, that's
Oddly
true.
loud bottle drinking scene. when he's
Yeah,
talking
he
to
wasn't good.
Emilio.
Yeah.
He was bad.
I kind of
Yeah.
forgot that.
But
character
Emilio was very
existed,
bad, too.
actually. So
Emilio, look, it's like you had all these great parts, like you said, Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins, these great writers, all this stuff, good chase sequences, the action was there. But you had, it was like having a monkey driving a limousine. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? It was just,
yeah,
he brought the whole thing down.
That
It
should
was-
have been somebody else.
it
Like,
was
right.
bad.
different.
It was a miscast,
But
and it's
I
not his fault.
almost thought his acting was so bad it worked because he was so confused the whole time. Like in real life,
Yeah.
you might actually act that way. You'd be like,
Maybe.
oh, what's happening? 2009
I don't know.
people.
They
Yeah,
didn't
I don't
set him up
know.
for success. In the
Yeah.
right movie, the right part that's in his wheelhouse, he does great. He's made lots of great movies.
That's what I mean. Like comedies and dramas.
This is
he's
not it.
very good at.
No, it was not. It
No.
was not.
He's even a good film. He's even a great filmmaker, indie
Yeah.
filmmaker. So it's just like this was not his
what
forte.
films does he make?
Well, I think he's made like a handful, like at least 5 or 6 films.
Interesting.
Later on, like after like the 2010s.
Well, let's talk about who our top 3 performers are. This is completely subjective. You're not saying these were the best 3 performances, but just your 3 favorite. So they could have been favorite because of how bad they were. It's really up to you. Who were your top 3 performers, Charles?
Okay, so I have 2 ways I can go with this list.
Okay.
One of them would be like the most sort of attractive and cool,
Okay.
or who I thought actually I enjoyed watching the most.
Yeah. Just give us both of them.
I'm going to give you both of them.
All right.
In order of attractive and cool,
Yeah.
Mick Jagger, number 3.
Okay.
I thought he was pretty cool in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With his weird leather jackets and when his helmet was off, more cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Anthony Hopkins, because he's Anthony Hopkins.
It seems effortless.
Effortless.
Doesn't
Anything
it?
he does.
Yeah.
He just, like I said, God is in the movie, right? And Rene Russo, because she's hot and she was good.
Yeah, all right.
Now, my real list, I have number 3 is Rene Russo.
Okay.
I thought she did okay.
Yeah, she did good.
I really liked Amanda Plummer as the nun. And I did not know until I looked her up that this was Christopher Plummer's daughter,
Yeah.
which is amazing. So
Oh, yeah.
that's in her benefit as well.
Nepotism. We talk about it sometimes.
And Frankie Faison is my number 1.
Number-
because
in the whole movie.
The whole movie, because he totally carried that character.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
my-
I love that you connected so well to that guy.
Yeah.
Who's your top 3, Bob?
Top 3. So I have Grandel Bush,
Who's that?
Balrog,
Oh, I see. I always just call them Special Agent Johnson.
Special Agent Johnson. I have Special Agent Johnson, David Johansen, who played Brad,
Yeah.
and Frankie Faison.
Okay.
And then I have to newly rename the Hot Babe Award after my wife. So it's now the Carrie Hauser Hot Babe Award.
nice.
Wait. If you think you're just going to gloss over
I think something happened.
No,
to
nothing
happened.
She looks
changing
she
the
just looked right at
Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah, I was like, all right,
Tell
I
me
got
what happened.
nothing. It was just a look you get. You're
Just
like,
we
it's
better
like that.
change this.
It's like that scene in Iron Man 2 when he goes textbook narcissism, and you just get that look, and they go, agreed.
Agree? So was she listening to the episode or did
No, I was talking to her about it. She listened to the Wraith,
Okay.
and she looked at me, and she's like, okay. And I'm like,
Oh no.
I'm like, thoughts, comments, epiphanies. She's like, who's Sherilyn Fenn? And I was like, oh, okay, I'll Google her for you. She goes, I think some changes need to be made. And I go, Carrie Hauser Hot Babe Award. She goes, sure, I'll take that. All right.
Oh my gosh.
So the award has been renamed.
I love that you tried to just scoot right past that. All right. Who wins the Carrie Hauser Award?
Mick Jagger's girlfriend.
Jerry Hall.
Jerry Hall.
All right. And then the hottest dude award, the Rain Award, goes to who?
Oh, that would have to be Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger wins the Rain Award.
So the couple win the award
All right.
because there's no one else attractive in this movie.
I think Emilio's good
Listen.
looking.
Yeah, he's an average. He's a normal looking,
I
good looking
can't
guy.
believe you gave it to him. Mick Jagger. This is he's the person that uses the example of how music will overcome any deficiency that you ever come with
But he had
girls.
charisma and
With
sexy.
girls.
He had charisma
No,
and grunt.
get out of my face.
Got a weird
Music.
mouth, for sure.
Music in the eyes of women will overcome a lot. Mick Jagger's one of the ugliest
He is very
dudes
That's why I
to
gave it
ever
to him.
walk
I'm
the
ugly.
earth.
Can't get no.
Ugly people need to stick together.
but he's got,
Can't always get what you want.
why do you think Jerry Hall
Always
is with?
get what you want.
Why do you think Jerry Hall is with Mick
But
Jagger?
if you try sometime, you might get what you need. Doo-doo, children choir singing at the beginning of the song.
See, that was so far off the original. I don't even have to worry about getting copyrighted. So
Yeah,
that's,
you'll be good. You'll be good.
all right. Who's your top three?
Mick Jagger. I mean, his character. Sure, his lines weren't delivered the greatest always, but his character grew on me. So I
was a fun
gave
character.
him. I gave him that, and then I also had Grandel Bush.
All right.
Boone. I loved Boone. Boone is like one of my favorite characters.
That's
in
awesome.
And then Renee Russo, because I feel like she made those two actually bearable.
All right. Yeah, so for my top three, I had Anthony Hopkins at number 3. I mean, he just wasn't in there a long time, but again, effortless with everything he did. Renee Russo, just a solid performer. And I had Mick Jagger number 1. I
had Mick Jagger number 1 as well.
I couldn't, from scene to scene, I was like, ugh. Win scene, sometimes going, that was great. I don't know, it was a weird performance, but it was endearing to me.
I thought he did well. I thought he did fine. I mean, he was good. I thought he got better as the movie went on.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I feel like we've already established the fact that this movie is one of the easier ones to answer the question about, on our pursuit to find out if there's ever a movie Arnold wouldn't make better.
Obviously.
Hands
Obviously,
down.
Yes.
you have a poor lead performance. You just take him out.
Put Arnold in.
Arnold in.
Eli Payne literally said,
But
he's
I
like,
don't
this
know.
is right up his alley. He said,
Total Recall was
it's
kind of
just
like
the
this.
Terminator, but with tinfoil men.
Thank you.
I would have had Emilio Estevez as a cameo appearance. Maybe play the guy that was
Jose at the door that he couldn't find.
Jose at the door, or the
Is it Alex?
or Mick Jagger's sidekick, or
Yeah.
I think Arnold could have also been Michelet.
Oh yeah, it could have if you wanted to be a bad guy.
He would be a bad guy.
Not McCandless because you leave Hopkins in
You
that
gotta
part,
have
right?
Hopkins there.
But yeah, he could have. But this is an easy swap out too if you want to.
Swap.
It's not
Except
one
he's
we
kinda
have
big
to.
for a race car driver though.
If he's going to be in Top Gun
that's
or
true.
Iron Eagle,
That's
he
true.
can fit in the plane. He can fit in the car. It would have been, hilarious.
he would have definitely been fired.
Just see his shoulders sticking out from like inside the thing.
God, my shoe is bigger than this car.
All that to say, we don't have to do mental gymnastics on this one to figure out where Arnold fits. It would have been nibble my ear for luck. And then she breaks her teeth trying to nibble his ear. Sorry.
Sorry. Now you have to get dentures.
That's right.
You're ugly. Get out
Get
of
it
here.
here now. Little baby teeth broken. Sorry. All right. So ultimately, guys, we have to land somewhere on this movie.
This movie sucked.
It's you always want to jump the gun. Let me just get this out. Good Lord.
Sorry.
You got to build suspense for the audience.
This is a bad one night stand.
That's what I say. All right. So the way our rating systems work is we try to marry the objective with the subjective. So if you didn't like it, it's a bad movie. Whether you liked it or not, it's either a bad movie full stop or it's a bad movie that rules, or you think it's a straight up good movie. Either way, how do you land on this one ultimately, Charles?
I'm gonna say bad movie, but just barely.
Oh, okay.
I think if the pacing had been better earlier on,
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed it more. I
Okay.
did by the end of the movie. I think I told my family, I said I didn't hate that, but I don't think it's a good movie.
Okay.
No.
I think it's too slow, and the fact that they de-actionified it is not a great thing.
No.
It probably could use more action, or at least quicker paced through some
sure.
of these parts.
For sure.
But I thought the overall concept was okay, just not well done.
All right. Fair enough.
So bad movie, just barely.
Bob, I wonder what do you think about this movie?
Oh, I said it 30 seconds ago. It sucked. And the only thing that sucked about it for me was like Charles has said, it just seemed like they wanted to take some of the there should have been so much more action. This was made to be an action vehicle with a title called Freejack and all these the story. It's like it just like this movie should have had like at least Nick Cage, Van Damme, or Schwarzenegger, like anybody that would have understood this project.
And maybe put some Rolling Stone musics in.
Yeah, they didn't do any soundtrack.
Like you had
Bands
Mick
of
Jagger
all
in it. Maybe you could have they could have negotiated in the contract. Like, can you give us like 3 songs and we'll give you like $3 million?
So you wouldn't even say it's a bad movie that rules. You just say bad movie full stop.
I would say bad movie full stop with some moments of enjoyment.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Eli.
I'm with the same as my dad. Me and Eli were like, You know what? That wasn't terrible. Would I watch it again? Well, I had to, but would I watch it again? Would I watch it if I wasn't doing this?
Yes.
No, absolutely not. But for what I did, I don't feel like I totally wasted my time.
All right.
So
See, this is what happens. We're forced to catalog garbage or trash rather.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I'm not even making this up. I don't have time in my life anymore to watch good movies.
Yeah.
And so there's
Oh, that's unfortunate.
there's been so many good movies that have come
created a
out,
monster.
right?
Seriously, man.
And I have to watch movies every
Oh, man,
week
you
now.
haven't missed many of the Marvel ones.
I haven't seen. I didn't see Maverick yet. I haven't seen all these
You
other
haven't
movies
seen
Maverick?
Maverick?
Why?
because I have to spend all my time watching Freejack and all these other movies.
The
Okay?
Roku channel's become your friend.
Yikes.
It's honestly crazy. So here's the
Tubi
thing.
Pluto
Here's the
TV.
thing. All right, it has its problems. I liked this movie a
Did
lot.
you? So
I
here's the
did.
There it is, the
25%.
one-
I
one in-
enjoyed.
one
I,
in
en-
four.
I enjoyed the crap out of this movie.
Really?
I
That
would,
much?
I did. I really was surprised how much I liked it. Now it's got,
Interesting.
as we just spent an hour and a half going through, lots of
Yes,
problems.
got problems.
But the concept is so cool.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
idea
it's
of like
okay.
going back
Yeah.
and snatching people at a time, and the base story, which was not executed as good as it could have been, as you said,
No.
was compelling enough that it kept me involved.
It kept you wanting to see
I really like, and Hopkins and Rene Russo, two of my favorite actors. So I really enjoyed it. And Mick Jagger, I think without him, the movie sucks, and I wouldn't have liked it at all. He saved it. And I will say confidently, bad movie that rules for me. But I also totally, I didn't argue with any of you because I totally get where you're coming from on it.
I contemplated watching it again with Elijah last night.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, nope. I don't want to see it again. I don't need to.
We didn't actually, me and Eli, we didn't even finish the last like 20 minutes. Because that was like the only part I was actually paying attention
yeah,
to.
that last 20 minutes is a pretty good movie, but the rest of it was not
I
good.
don't know. I didn't like
See, I like the
the stupid
beginning.
transfer. I thought that was so. His motive was dumb. Anyway,
What, just that he wanted to get with his girl?
I think that's so stupid. And then the
he's-
de-actionifying. Like nothing happens. Like what are we doing?
Look, there's shooting your shot, and then there's what this guy did.
Yeah,
Which is like
that's
taking
just
a
called
full
desperation with
Full
money.
court shot. He's like, let me bend time and space.
Yeah,
Talk
let
about being
me-
friend zoned hard.
He would have had a better chance if he had gotten.
Yeah, let me go create a rift in time and space just to go get a guy, which probably wouldn't even work after he
He
did
would have
it.
done better probably to get some other body and try
Right.
to woo her then.
What about the brothel?
Right.
Just go to the brothel down the street.
Bro's a billionaire.
Yes.
He doesn't have to go to the brothel.
but
There will
those
be
ways-
attractive women that will want to be with him.
Absolutely, for money.
Oh, well, they didn't want current bodies. I'm like, well, why don't they just do that? Well, they don't want current bodies.
But isn't there people in the clean zones where they're living?
Could, but it's probably illegal to take them and use them.
No, but I'm saying like,
I mean, there's still no ozone layer, so
Yeah, how are the free
All
zone
right.
people protected from the ozone lack of? I don't
well,
know, money.
we
I guess.
appreciate that you guys have stuck with us for this
Portable
whole time.
ozone
Oh, yeah.
generators.
Those of you who stick through to the ends of these,
Generators.
those of you who stick through to the ends of these episodes, you guys are our diehards. We love you guys. Thank you for listening to this whole episode. Go and watch Freejack if you haven't watched it yet. If you have, shoot us a message on Facebook or on email. We want to know, are you one of the 25% or are you the majority? Do you like Freejack? Do you want to be friends with me? I'll watch Freejack again.
As the nun said, if you're a praying man, start praying.
That's right. Right now, we'll see. Thank you guys for listening. On behalf of Charles Hewitt and Elijah Hewitt, Bob Hauser, I'm James Hauser. Thank you for listening. Nice job, guys.
I was better than I anticipated. It was fun.